AIA Vitality. Your health is every choice you make. We are part of a global wellness program with over 1.65 million members in AIA across Asia. And in Singapore, we have more than 100,000 members on AIA Vitality. Members live healthier by knowing their health through online health assessments and screenings. They improve their health by logging exercises and enjoying the rewards to keep them going. And indeed, members are making improvements in their health. Even the vitality age gap has narrowed to less than a year. Best of all, you earn points for every activity. The higher your status, the greater the rewards, including up to 15% off insurance premium on selected AIA plans. To keep you going, there is the weekly fitness challenge with personalized targets to help pace and improve your fitness. When you complete the challenge, you get a spin on the Vitality Wheel to earn Vitality Coins, which you can use at the marketplace. That's not all. You also earn AIA Vitality Points for completing these activities. And very soon, you'll be on your way to Platinum status. And we sweeten the deal further with many exciting partner benefits that you can enjoy. With AIA Vitality, nothing gets better than a healthier you. So get onto AIA Vitality today because your health is every choice you make.
The AIA Singapore Premier League is back from the international break with a bang as we go into the Lions' Den. Philippe's young guns have been the comeback kings of the season so far, taking points off of the Eagles and the Tigers. But tonight on the ground, both clubs call home. The next generation of the national team must face the challenge of the wounded Lion City Sailors, a side packed full of this generation's national players. And the league's first multi-million-dollar man. Can the Sailors bounce back from their cheetah mauling? It's the struggling Sailors against the fighting young Lions. It's next, and it's live.
Welcome everyone live to the Jalan Besar Stadium, where tonight, for the first time this season, we get to crown the Lion Kings. Will it be the Young Lions or the Lion City Sailors? Welcome everyone to the Jalan Besar Stadium, where tonight, for the first time this season, we get to crown Singapore's Lion Kings. Will it be the Young Lions or the Big Spenders? It's one of two games that make up your Saturday afternoon doubleheader in the AIA Singapore Premier League. Hougang, who of course conquered the Lion City Sailors here before the international break, are in action at their stadium against Tampines Rovers in another tantalising clash. We have this weekend. And don't forget, tomorrow, Balestier, Tanjong Pagar and Albrechts and Geylang. Let's check in with the league table that sees the defending champions joint at the top with Tampines Rovers. Albrechts Nagata's 100% record coming to an end against Balestier Kausa just before the international break. And the Young Lions, courtesy of those two fighting draws, are keeping the Jags of Tanjong Pagar United at the bottom of the table. All in all, the international break's been a bit of an inconvenience, really, because the league has started so brilliantly, and I'm delighted to say, for the first time this season, you've heard him on commentary throughout the campaign. I welcome envisioned on our pre-match broadcast, Mr. Shasi Kumar, who himself, of course, is a former SPL player and manager. And Shasi, the international break was at just the wrong time, really, wasn't it? Because the season started so well.
Yeah. I think so. You know, you talk about all the goals that have been scored. Absolutely brilliant pass last 3 games, and then the international break came. But I tell you what, I think the LCS needed that break, after that loss against Hougang, so needed to regroup a little, and let's see what they can come up with against the Young Lions
Well,
today.
the pressure is on Aurelio Vidmar's men. He makes significant team changes to the side that started against Hougang, and the biggest piece of team, as you can see on the bottom of your screen now, for the first time in the SPL, both the Brazilian imports start. Of course, it will be our first look at Felipe. Diego Lopez has made 2 second-half substitute appearances, but he starts for the first time tonight, the $3 million man. And in a strange way, it's almost a no-win game this for the Lion City Sodas. They beat the Young Lions 9-0, 5-0 and 4-0 last season. And if anything else but a comfortable victory, and there are going to be serious questions asked.
Exactly, and you spoke about Diego Lopez there, and I commentated that game against Tanjung Pagar at Jurong East, and he was very good. He came on in the second half. They were down. He was 0-0, and then came on in the second half. An absolutely brilliant game there.
And of course, not so influential when he came on in the second half against Hougang. But let's talk about the Young Lions, and with good reason, because Felipe, I know a dear friend of yours, has stepped in after the sad medical issues for Nasri, and what a job he's done. They look physically more prominent than in recent seasons to me, the Young Lions, and they're certainly finishing games stronger, where in certain instances last season, the second half was their Achilles heel.
Yeah, I tell you what, he has done, gone in and done a fantastic job there. I think the players have know what to do. Individually, they know what to do. They set out the stall very well. They want to play good football, playing out from the back, but inconsistency. I think that's the problem. And with young players, you can make mistakes, and the goalkeeper there, in the second game there, a very poor mistake. But I spoke to him regarding this game against the LCS, and there's nothing special he wants to prepare against the LCS team, because he says individually, you can't stop them, right? So they've got to organize well, and they're just going to go out there and play the normal game.
He's been saying, Felipe, isn't it, that the results don't really matter. I know this frustrates you because we've had many passionate debates in the past about, the under-23 rule and the Young Lions and their place in the league. He says results don't matter, it's just all about the way we play. But he's being a bit disingenuous here, because now they've proved that they can get results against these top teams. They'll want to make a point. They want to prove a point.
I tell you, I'm sitting on a fence on this one, right? You talk about a professional league. You got to go out there and do a job. You got to go out there and win games. But having said that, he wants to play the game the right way. And Nadim here with that very good ball control from, in a very awkward position, and then scored that goal as well. And this was the equalizing goal, a good header from Ilhan. And then Hamishain, I think that was his first touch of the game.
Incredible to come from 3-1 down. They led in that game, remember, against Balestier. Then were 3-1 down, 2 second-half equalisers. And here's young Karim Nadim again, youngest player in SPL history to score 5 goals. He was the youngest player ever when he was still 15. This boy's a serious talent. Arguably, I'm looking forward to seeing him today as much as I'm looking forward to seeing Diego Lopez.
Yeah, you're very right. And he's classy, and he had the composure to actually do that. The cut inside his man and then played into the top corner. He scored 3 goals last season from 14 games or so. This season's already scored 2. So, we expect a lot from him, but give him a little bit of time. But he's special, alongside some other good players in there as well, like Ilhan, and I like the Stewart brothers as well.
Yeah, the Stewart brothers, very combative. Expect them to get stuck in the middle of the park. They'll be giving Diego Lopez a proper Singaporean welcome. And again, I talked with Roshan certainly on the last feature game about Project 2034, Bring Back the Raw. When you actually analyse it, yes, there's lots of work to do, but at its core, we've obviously seen Irfan Fandi win the league in Thailand. Jacob Marler's on national service. I really rate those two as a future centre-back pairing. Karim Nadim, the established stars that are already there, the likes of Gabriel Kwak, Adam Swandy. When you actually write it down, there's reason for optimism.
Exactly. There is room for positivity. But, it's the next step, isn't it? You talk about Nadim, you talk about Ilhan now, you talk about the Stewart brothers. What's the next stage? I think they got to go abroad, like what Irfan has done. And the other Fandi brother, he's in there as well. So they need to go out there and experience life, experience the football over there, because it's not easy over there.
Well, I've obviously covered the Thai League a lot this season, and I have to tell you, and it's not because he's Singaporean, Irfan Fandi would have to be one of the most improved players in Thai football. And no coincidence, he's playing alongside 2 experienced South American centre-backs, and that's what you mean. The better players you play with, the better you'll become. And that'll be interesting when it comes to Karim Nadim. Let's have a look at some of these goals that he's been banging in for fun at such a young age as well, and physically he's so well developed already.
Exactly. And again, it's the finish, isn't it? It's not just shoot at goal and try to burst the leather out of the ball. He picks his spot again. look at that, absolutely brilliant with the outside of the foot at Jurong East Stadium. And, you know, he has that quality going forwards, and he cuts it from the left as well.
I'm still trying to figure out what happened with this one. It was crazy. I mean, what he demonstrated in those 3 goals is an absolute goal scorer's instinct, isn't it? You can't coach that. You either got it or you haven't.
This one here is just like a fox in the box. You know, he knows where the ball will end up in, and this one here, just like you know, Thierry Henry, he used to do that for Arsenal, cutting inside and then top corner with his right foot, curling inside the goalkeeper. So, like we said, you know, one for the future, but very interesting to see how he does today against a very good LCS team.
Certainly, I think they've been in the gym, these young Lions boys, because they're physically more imposing than I believe the young Lions have ever been before, certainly in recent memory in the AIA Singapore Premier League. By the way, breaking news, what a shame now if you've been in Singapore. I know lots of you will be watching from around the world. Singapore has been blighted with this very unseasonal rain that frustratingly always appears to come late afternoon. It's already affected some of our SPL games this season, and despite the fact we thought he dodged a bullet earlier with the rain coming then going, I can just see to my right that the LWS light is on. So there will be a slight delay in kickoff. So do bear with us. We've got plenty to keep you entertained between now and when the game starts. Let's speak now about the Lion City Sailors, because Diego Lopez, you mentioned you were impressed with him. I know you commentated on that game in the second half at Jurong East. Me less so in the second half against Hougang. Of course, it was a slightly different situation. He came on with the team floundering. But you know, Shassi, you've played at a decent level. You've managed in this division. Can you just tell by looking at him that he's got that slight bit of quality that's going to see him in good stead here? He's
got that little bit of class, you know, and as a Brazilian coming in here, you need that, right? You need to be something extra. You need to be something special. And he came on there, did a very good job against Tanjung Pagar. And you can see here, you know, his first touch is good, and he does all the right things. You know, you would want to in a playmaker's role, in a, you know, winning that foul as well. But you know, I think if you do play him, you need someone else alongside him who's going to do the dog work, who's going to, you know, do the hard work in the middle of the park, so to speak. And you can see it here, he's class, right? He knows what to do. He knows, you know, how to play the ball, the pace of the ball to the strikers. And Stipe Plazibat would be grateful to have him in the squad.
Yeah, he certainly looks like he's got plenty of talent. The question being, Chassis's stumbled upon a big point there, because is Shardan that kind of workhorse in midfield that you want alongside the quality of Lopez? We'll maybe find out tonight, because essentially the team news, and I can give you a bit of that team news now, is that Diego Lopez is in, and Song Yong, who's been one of the leading lights in front of goal this season, dropped to the bench, and that's a problem Vidmar's got. They've got so many top players. Poor old Adam Swandy, how long is it going to be before he starts a game this season?
Something's got to give. You know, you've got a squad of players like that. You've got Song in there, Shardan, Adam Swandy, Diego Lopez. Everyone is vying for a spot in the middle of the park as well. You know, and you've got Saifullah Akbar, who's pushing on further forward to support Stipe Plazibat. But therein lies the problem, I feel. You know, centrally, I don't think they have the defensive mid who's going to do the dog work, because all of them are creative players.
That brings us on to their defence very nicely, Chassis, because that's been the problem. Only Tanjung Pagar and the Young Lions have conceded more goals in the first 3 games of the season. They've conceded 3 goals twice already in that incredible 3-0 draw here against Tampines, and then that 3-1 beating at the hands of Hougang. And to put that into perspective, last season, when of course Vidmar was in charge last season, they only conceded 3 goals twice in the whole campaign, and both of those were against the champions Albrechts. And all 3 of these goals at Hougang, Chassis, it's not difficult to criticise the defenders for.
Exactly, and if you analyse these goals, they already conceded 2 from corners, 1 that from Mamadu, and then the last game against Hougang when Hassan came out and flapped at it. And this is the one where he flapped at it, the cross comes in, comes out, doesn't get anywhere near there, near the ball, and then goal. So they've got to sort out defending from corner kicks. You know, that is the main concern. If you are a team going for the championship, and then this one here, you know, we talk about Hassan miskicking, and obviously it's a mistake from Hassan, but is it necessary for Tajeli to play the ball back? You know, so defending is a team one. You know, you can't just point a finger at Hassan and point a finger at Tajeli and what have you. We spoke about centrally, that's a problem. Individual mistakes, that's a problem as well. Defending from corners, that's another problem. They've got to sort this out, because if you want to win the league, consistency, defending from all these areas, they got to get it right.
And what concerns me is that this was their problem last season as well. Defence, they always look great going forward. When you've got that many quality front foot players in your squad, you're always going to look pretty and manage to go coast to coast when it goes right. But when it goes wrong, as it did against Hougang, they don't appear to me to have kind of a plan B or plan C to shore it up. They only appear to play in this sort of Harlem Globetrotters style.
Just going back to the point, they are always going to keep possession of the ball. They want to come out and play out from the back, which is fine. All right, but sometimes you need to go long, play direct sometimes, and that's where I think Hougang did a great job on them. Press higher up, win the ball higher up the park, and then there you go, you score a goal easily because the goal is in front of you. So, but sometimes teams have sussed you out, so you got to play out quickly sometimes.
Okay, just a reminder, there is a slight delay to kick off, but stay with us, so keep you up to date. We've got plenty of entertaining action to look back on and to look forward to. Another game, of course, in progress this afternoon, simultaneously to this one, subject to the LWS, Hougang and Tampines. More to come from Shashi Kumar, live from Jalan Besar, as we crown the Lion Kings in Singapore for the first time tonight. Young Lion Sailors, it's on the way live. Welcome back to Jalan Besar. Good news, everybody. 6 p.m. Singapore time kickoff. That's the revised kickoff time. So hopefully, assuming the LWS doesn't come on again, we will just be delayed by the half hour. We will, of course, keep you up to date with what's happening at the Hougang Stadium, where the Cheetahs take on the Stags. And here, we're focusing on Philippe Aux's Young Lions against Aurelio Vidmar's Lion City Sailors, with the big question being how the Sailors respond to that mauling at the hands of the Cheetahs last time out before the international break. These two teams, of course, met twice last season, and if you're a Young Lions fan, you want to look away now. They played each other twice in an 11-day spell in November after the COVID break resumption, and the games finished 9-0 in aggregate, 5-0 at Bishan. All the goals coming in the second half there, and then 4-0 at what was the Young Lions' home last season, Jurong West, Shah. We can have a look at these goals now. I think in the Bishan game, the Young Lions were competitive, and in this game they were too. They arguably should have been in front, but when they did concede, it started to disintegrate quickly. Yeah,
it started to rain goals, and again, like I said, with the young players, inconsistency, mistakes, and organisation, it's a problem. And, you know, obviously, Lion City Sailors, they ran riot here in this game, and it was, in the end, a little bit too easy.
Gabriel Quack down the right-hand side, and as you say, it was a bit of a turkey shoot between the end of it. 2 goals for Arshad, 1 for Song, and 1 for Gabriel Quack to bring down the curtain. And that's something else that they need to keep an eye on the Young Lions tonight, because both games last season, they conceded penalties against the Lion City Sailors. And you simply can't afford to give a team of the quality of the Lion City Sailors, which is essentially is a head start, isn't it, when you're conceding penalties like that?
And here's a stat. The Young Lions, they have not kept a clean sheet for 18 games in a row. And the Lion City Sailors, they've scored 15 games in a row. So that tells you already the problem that the Young Lions are facing. Defensively, they got to get it right, organisation. And it's very interesting to see whether they play out from the back, because that's what Philippe Aux likes to do with his players. They want to go out there and do the right thing. Is that the time to do the right thing here, playing out against the big team like LCS?
Now, this gives you an indication of what I'm talking about. You know, it's very base mentality, but sometimes when you watch the Singapore Premier League, you look at the players sometimes and you think, well, these guys physically aren't big enough to cut it, really. I know you've got great small players, but physicality is such an important part of the game. There's no doubt in my mind that they've been hitting the gym, those boys.
Yeah, I'm sure. The Young Lions team, and over a couple of years as well, they've been hitting the gym, and it's a combination of gym work, and obviously the sports science now is so advanced that they've got all the right people in place with the Young Lions, so they've got to do the right job. And yeah, the Young Lions are the big team.
Can you help clear something up for me? This is one of those age-old football questions. You mentioned the Young Lions haven't kept a clean sheet for goodness knows how many games. Last time they did keep a clean sheet was against the artists formerly known as Home United. So in your mind, you've been a part of the fabric of the SPL and before that the S-League since its inception. Do you consider the Lion City Sailors the same football club as Home? I know by the letter of the law they are, but when you're analysing the games, you have to almost treat them as a different entity, because they've taken it to the next level, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. You know, they are a different entity, definitely. Yeah. You know, they've privatized, and a new name as well, new owners and what have you. But you got to look at the history here. You know, the players, some of the players are the same players.
Yeah,
right?
That's
They're
a good
the same
point.
players. And yeah, by the way, it's 18 games. Without a clean sheet.
Incredible.
Absolute.
Since that game against Home back in 2019. I think that was in September as well. So is it going to happen again here today? It's going to be a very difficult job to keep a clean sheet against the Lion City Sailors. But one man is becoming a dab hand at getting results against supposedly favoured teams. That man is Philippe Aux, the boss of the Young Lions. And earlier on this afternoon, he caught up with our Supergirl on the spot, Miss Faranaya.
I'm here with Philippe Aux from the Young Lions. Now, Philippe, after an intense week, everyone had a much needed break. You go again today against the Lion City Sailors. How have preparations been like ahead of today?
Yeah, so, you know, we had a break. The 4 of the boys went with the national team. We continued training with the rest. And this week we had a good week of training, and yeah, we are prepared to play Lion City Sailors today.
Now, we know that today might not be the easiest, but we also know that your opponents are certainly not unbeatable, and you definitely have it in you going forward. What kind of a test will you be expecting tonight, and how can we expect you to set up ahead of today?
Well, you know, it's Lion City Sailors are a big team. They've got plenty of players. The bench is filled with national players. So we know the task at hand. It's a big task for our boys, but like I told the boys, you know, we come here today, play the football that we want to play, and yeah, you never know.
Now, the last time out before the international break, you did say that results don't really matter. It's more about the performance and the football that you want to play. So what has the message been like to your boys ahead of today?
It's the same. I expect performance from them. The result we can't control. I told the boys to control what they can, which is their own performance. And it's the same message across from the start of the season. And 4 games, this is the 4th game now. It's still the same. I expect performance from the boys. And if they put in a good performance, then I'm happy.
Is he being genuine there, Chassis? You know, results do matter. That's the reality. You know, we're so used to over the last couple of years to seeing Tanja Bagar and the young lions at the bottom of the table. You've got to win football matches. That's what the game's about in the
exactly.
league.
And you know, you talk about performance. It's a relative, really. And you know, it depends on what the performance level you want to. And if you do get the right performance all the time at a consistent level, then I think the results will come. But it's a tough job at hand, you know, with the young lions, like Philip said. You know, the young side, inconsistency will set in, and this is the lineup, by the way. Yeah,
just one change to the team that drew 1-1 with Geylang before the international break. Zamri comes in for Daniel Go, who is out of the matchday squad, so must have a slight issue, Daniel Go, because I'm sure he'd be in the squad if he was fit and available. So that's the young lions starting 11. I mean, where do you see their great strengths? Karim Nadim is the obvious one. Any other players that people getting the first look at the young lions this season should look out for?
I quite like Harry Stewart in the middle of the park. You know, he's strong, he's tall, and he gets in there with the tackles as well. The other Stewart as well, Raihan at right back. But they've got Hami Shaheen, obviously. You know, Hami Shaheen is experienced, played for Home United, Lion City Sailors, so he's a good player sitting in the middle of the park. And obviously you can't write out Ilhan Fandi. I think he can create problems, but he's got a big guy up front, at the back for Lion City Sailors to contend with.
Yeah, George Felipe, massive man that's going to be playing on the left side of the centre of defence. One name I'd like to put in the mix as well, Joel Chu, who impressed me at times playing for Tampines Rovers over recent seasons. So we'll get a chance to see him lining up for the Young Lions live tonight. Just joining us, a reminder, because I'm sure you're just joining us, expecting kick-off to be in a couple of minutes. Due to an LWS delay, lightning warning system, we're starting at 6 p.m. Singapore time, which is just over half an hour away. So do stay with us. We've got plenty of great build-up to come as we bring you the first of our 4 matches that are covered live on Singtel Star Hub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page, and One Play Sports as well. Now, Farah was speaking to Philip Orr moments ago, and just after she had a chat with Philippe, she caught up with the manager of the Lion City Sailors. I wonder what Aurelio Vidmar has got to say ahead of this one.
Aurelio, you're of course coming into this one on the back of that loss against Hougang, but you had plenty of time to regroup, reflect, and go all out for that 3 points again today.
Yeah, it's important that we bounce back. It was obviously a disappointing result for us, but in saying that, all the metrics that we normally look at were there in that game. We were just not efficient enough in front of goal, and we certainly weren't efficient in the back end of the pitch. So, yeah, last week we had a decent week. Obviously, the week before we had 9 players out with the national team. So we've prepared as well as we can, and now we're just looking to get the job done today.
You're of course up against the Young Lions tonight, who won't be pushovers of any sort. What kind of a challenge will you be expecting from them today?
Well, it's a different challenge from the team that they were last year. They've obviously got a few different players this year, certainly strengthened. And they're a team that want to try to play football, in my view, what I think is the right way. And yeah, it will definitely be a challenge. There's a lot of talented kids in that group, so it's definitely a challenge for us. But you know, we're confident in what we're trying to do, and we just have to be super efficient in front of goal today.
Now, I know we're only 3 games in, but so far you've had a win, 1 draw, and of course that loss. Would you say that now you feel some sort of a pressure to start delivering results more consistently from here on?
Look, in my view, if we continue to do the right things, then we will get more wins than losses. It's very simple. So we would definitely have to eliminate some of the silly mistakes that we've been making. And look, and that can happen. It happens at the very, very top level. So the more you minimise those things, it gives you a better chance to win.
Nothing but a big win tonight here would do for the Lion City Sailors. They make 4 changes to that team, humiliated here by Hougang before the break. Full debuts in Singapore for George Felipe and Diego Lopez, the 2 Brazilians. Now Kudin Yunos and Gabriel Quack back into the starting lineup as well. And if you want an indication of just how much money the Lion City Sailors have got, never mind changing their kits, they've already changed their branded face masks once this season. I just noticed Aurelio Vidmar, they've changed the face masks already. That tells you all you need to know about the money that's flowing through their chassis.
Yeah, I didn't notice that, Pat. But yeah, you look at the lineup and they've got the big guns in there. George Felipe is in there. Diego Lopez, obviously. And Justin Hui, interesting, comes in for Haikal Pasha. But apart from that, it's the same old team. Nakyuddin obviously coming for a Curry at right back. But again, strong lineup individually. You look at players, and going forwards, they want all the players in the world to hurt any team, let alone the young Lions. So they've got players going forwards, and he said it in the interview there about doing proper work in the defensive side of things, and defensively they got to get it right, because going forwards they can score goals anytime.
And there's that relationship that you think might be about to become one of the mainstays of the division. Diego Lopez warming up alongside Stipe Plaza, but I don't think that's by coincidence that those two are working on close ball control together. Again, we've seen glimpses of him. You were impressed at Geelong East. I was a little bit less impressed here against Hougang, but we're going to see what he's made of now. No excuses about not being acclimatised. He's been in the country for a month plus, so he really needs, if he's going to justify that price tag in the context of the Singapore Premier League, he simply has to outclass the young Lions tonight.
They have to, they should. But then again, this is football. Anything can happen. And like what Aurelio Vidmar said, the young Lions, they are a pretty decent side this season, pretty organised. And, we talk about Diego Lopez there. There was this player, Perez de Oliveira, if you remember him. He started off at Home United way back. Didn't start off well. But in the end, got acclimatised and got to be one of the best ever foreign players to play in Singapore. So, Diego Lopez could be that player. He needs a little bit more of time, but he needs games as well to keep on playing day in, day out, or week in, week out. And let's see what he does today.
Well, he's making his full debut today, and this is match day 4 of what is, remember, only a 21-game season. So we get to see George Felipe and Diego Lopez tonight live on Singtel Star Hub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page, and One Play Sports as well. The other thing that terrifies me if I'm the young Lions tonight is that substitutes bench. I know there was some suggestion they might stick with the 5 sub rules. I think luckily for the rest of the division, it's only 3 substitutes, so that's something for the young Lions, because you look at that substitutes bench and you could argue all of those players could be brought on to make a difference in the second half.
Exactly, and one player I would love to see more often is Adam Swandi.
Yeah,
I think the last game he came on and did everything right for them, but score. So he's a good player, one to come in there, and you got Haikal Pasha in there as well. So they've got some very good players on the bench to do damage.
Surprised he stuck with Hassan Sunny in goal. I know he's Singapore's #1, but there was some criticism over that game against Hougang. Rudy Kairullo not in the starting line. You think he's got to stick with Hassan? He's the club captain, I suppose, as well.
I think so. I think he's got to give the respect to Hassan. But, he's got to do a good job today. You can't keep on making the same old mistakes over and over again. But he said it himself, Vidmar, about cutting out silly mistakes. And it happens, right? But it can't happen over and over again.
All right, stay with us. More build-up to come with Shesi Kumar and myself. We're live from Jalan Besar. A reminder, if you're just tuning in, because the game would have been 3 minutes old if it had started on time. But kick-off is now 6 p.m. A brief lightning warning system delay. Stay with us. We'll be back live at Jalan Besar for the Battle of the Lion Kings. It's next. Welcome back live to the Jalan Besar Stadium. It's the battle to be the first Lion Kings of the AIA SPL season that's about to get underway at a revised kickoff time of 6 p.m. And if you're not watching in Singapore, or if you're in Singapore and haven't got a timing device, that's 17 minutes from now. I'm told, incidentally, the other game tonight, Hougang against Tampines, that's also still under a lightning warning system. So there might even be a slightly longer delay, which I like, you know, Shasi, because when you get one game kicking off and the other one kicking off slightly later, stagger kickoff times, you get to watch more action, which is what it's all about, really.
Yeah, exactly. And the other game, is half an hour or 1 hour later. But this game is the one we're talking about, and it's a big game for the young Lions, right? They're coming up against one of the teams that are the favourites. It's going to be interesting to see how they shape against the Lion City Sailors, because are they going to come out and play the way that Philip Au likes to play, or are they going to sit back? It's going to be very interesting.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I remember before the game that was last here for the Lion City Sailors against Hougang, Clement Teo was all pre-match, we need to give these guys respect. We're going to play a much more cautious game than we do usually. And as you alluded to before, in the last segment of the show, bang, straight from the off, they're pressing them. They went for them and got them. So will Philip Au be brave enough to do that? Because as Hougang proved, when it works, you can get real dividends. If it goes wrong,
exactly
9-0 over 2 games last year, they might get that in one game if the young Lions go for the throat and it doesn't quite work out.
Hougang were pretty smart about it. They came out, they started pressing high up the pitch, got the 2 goals, bam, and then came back and set in the middle third and then dropped that deeper in the second half. So they played the tactics and the strategies really, really well. You can't go out there at full throttle all the time, at full 90 minutes, and I don't think the young Lions are good enough to do that. And they sussed out the way the Lion City Sailors played with Tajeli at the back. He's not playing today. George Philippe is playing, and can he play out from the back? I'm sure he can. So let's see how this goes.
And I've seen George Philippe in the flesh for the first time this evening, and let me tell you, he is a unit. Looks about 7 foot tall. Looks like a giant walking among midgets here this evening, but it's a good chance to see him and both Diego Lopez in action. We'll confirm the young Lions lineup for you now before we move on to the Lion City Sailors. Here is the starting 11 that Philippe Au has gone with, and just that one change that sees Zamani in for Daniel Go. So they've got some continuity, and arguably, unlike Aurelio Vidmar at the moment, Philippe Au probably knows what his strongest team is.
Yeah, exactly, and the back four is the same. Shahrus Azali on the left, Danish Irfan, captain, and of course he's got Said Akmal at the back as well. In midfield there, I think they are pretty strong as well. Hami Shahin in there, Raihan Stewart, Karin Nadim playing out wide on the left-hand side, and Zamani on the right-hand side. And Ilhan Fandi is always going to trouble the back four.
And the bench, we talked earlier about how the Sailors bench and the strength of it, not really the same kind of impact players there. Who do you see being able to make something happen in the second half if the young Lions need to go to the bench?
Well, number 7, Zul Suzliman, he comes in after a spell out during NS. He comes in. He's a national team player, so he'll provide that little bit of experience from the bench if he does come on. And there you see the players are warming up, and these are obviously the reserve team or the reserve players. With the young Lions players, you're not going to have the household names of the Lion City Sailors players.
So that is the young Lions starting 11 that Philippe Au hopes will get something off the Lion City Sailors today. And if they are going to get something, and again, you've spoken about him a couple of times, he's to a certain extent living in the shadow at the moment of Iksan and Irfan, who are pulling up trees overseas. But Ilhan Fandi, is he on a par with those two? I mean, we've seen what Irfan's done at centre-back for BG Patum, the Thai champions. Where do you sort of, never mind in Singapore young talent, where do you rank Ilhan in the Fandi family?
Well, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. But apparently, he is the most talented of them all, right? Irfan, he's big and strong. You've seen him so many times. He's huge. He's playing at centre-back. And this guy here, he will run non-stop, And if you want to play a high-pressing game, he can do that. If you want him to drop off, he can do that. And obviously, you want to be coaching players who are coachable, and he's one of them. A beautiful player to have. He's good in the air as well. He provided that goal against Hami Shahin, for Hami Shahin rather. And obviously, he's got Nadim in there as well, alongside.
Incidentally, it's a safe bet that Irfan's watching this over. I think he's still in Thailand, where BG Patum have just lifted the title. Irfan, on behalf of everyone in Singapore, congratulations. National scandal how your achievement winning that Toyota Thai League T1 title hasn't been recognised widely. Could you imagine a Cambodian, a Burmese player winning the biggest domestic title in Southeast Asia, and it's barely a ripple. Feel sad for him, really, but that shows the work we've got to do to try and improve the profile of football.
I think we spoke about this earlier on, right? What is the next step for all these players who are playing today at the Jalan Besar Stadium, especially for the young Lions? The next step is obviously to play and go out there, play in the overseas league like Irfan has, and he's done wonders for him. You know, the job that he's done. And another player, Safwan, who's gone on earlier on to Melbourne City as well, he did very well there. So you need more of these players getting on to the next stage, and that's how we can achieve better things for Singapore football.
We've obviously been with our pre-show for nearly an hour now, so forgive us for repeating ourselves, but for those joining the broadcast late, we must speak about Khairul Nadim as well, because we've obviously flagged up the Fandis. Everyone knows about the Fandi dynasty. 15 years of age when he made his debut against Hougang last season. He's still only 16, the youngest player in SPL history to get 5 goals. Khairul Nadim, Shasi, a player I know you like. Yeah. What can you tell us about his attitude? Because obviously he's being pegged for great things, and it's important when the players are at this stage of their career, when they're young and impressionable, that they keep on the straight path.
And you got to keep your feet on the ground as well, and I think he has done that so far. Very good talent, good prospect for the future. And what I like most about him in terms of the playing style, very, very composed. Absolutely composed. The way he scored that goal against Geylang, absolutely brilliant. Cut inside his man, picked his spot, didn't just like, you know, whack the ball in from into row Z. So he has the composure and he has the talent to do that as well, to score goals as well. And so he's one for the future. The next step, it's always the next step, Patrick.
Just to remind you, by the way, we are looking at those pictures that were recorded during the warm-ups moments ago. The players have gone back into the dressing rooms because kick-off now is only 10 minutes away. Now, our production team have done wonderful work of getting all the players warming up. I wonder if they can show us a shot of the Lion City Sailors, George Felipe, because I mentioned before, he is an absolute monster. Got to be the tallest player in the... I'm trying to think of it as a player taller than him in the division if we get a chance to see it.
Yeah, I don't know about the stats there, but we talk about, you know, conceding goals from corners.
Yeah.
He'd be advantaged in terms of defending from corners, and probably they would have this sorted out. And not only in terms of defending and challenging for the ball, in terms of organising. We need somebody, or they need somebody to organise things at the back. And you talk about defending, how about attacking corners, attacking from set pieces? He's going to create chaos for the opponents, and especially today.
Yeah, they're going to send him up, I'm sure, for set pieces. And I pity the poor young Lion fella that's got to pick him up at the set pieces. And let's check out the Lion City Sailors starting 11. And unlike the young Lions, it's multiple changes for Aurelio Vidmar. No fewer than 4 players into the lineup in the change to the starting 11 that took on Hougang and came out second best here before the break. George Felipe and Diego Lopez are both in for their full AIA Singapore Premier League debuts. It's the first time we get a look at George Felipe at all, whereas Diego Lopez has obviously made 2 second-half appearances off the bench to this point. Naikudin comes in, Gabriel Quack, Tajeli drops to the bench, and I think you can understand Diego Lopez and George Felipe coming in, but do you think the dropping of Tajeli is to do with those defensive lapses against Hougang?
I think so. I think we spoke about that back pass to Hassan, who wasn't really necessary, but you know, he's done well. You know, he's done well. Tajeli's done well, good solid player, but obviously someone has got to come on to the reserves, and that's where George Felipe comes in. And again, another player who's gone on to the bench is Song. We got to talk about Song. He's one of their best players, and he's on the bench as well. And you look at the bench there, look at Faris.
Yeah, Faris Ramley, when he made the decision to come back to Singapore to be part of this Lion City Sailors project, I don't think he anticipated being on the bench as much as he has been. I think as well, he may be a victim from memory. I think he started in that game against Hougang as well, so I think maybe that's the reason. There is Diego Lopez once more with Stipe Plazibat. You were impressed with the touches you saw in that second-half cameo in his first appearance. I suppose he couldn't single-handedly get them out that 2-0 hole against Hougang here before the international break, but this is the stage for him now, because on what you've seen so far and what we know about him, and without wanting to be too crude about it, if you're going to pay that kind of transfer fee to bring a player to the AIA Singapore Premier League, and if you're going to pay him the reported wages, I'm hearing something like $80,000 a month this guy is getting. Let's be blunt about this, Jesse. Let's call a spade a spade. If you're going to be that blunt, he has to come into games like this and just be the star of the show.
Agree with you. Yes, he's got to come in and do a job. I don't know about being the star and running the whole show. But, you know, like I said, it's going to be tough. You know, a game against the young Lions is not going to be that easy, you know, coming in. If they are organized, they need to pick locks, right? And this guy, I think he can do the job. But he needs able players alongside him. And he's got Stipe Plazibat, he got Saifullah Akbar in there, and Shadan, who can spray passes as well. But I'm quite worried about in transition, and all these players, they're going forwards. in transition, when they lose the ball, what happens then? You know, that is the main question that they've got to answer today.
Something to keep an eye out for that's a trademark of Vidmar's play. You've already alluded to it, Chassis. These guys like to go coast to coast in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Whenever they're defending set pieces, if Hassan suddenly can claim the ball cleanly, they set go and try and go coast to coast. At least 4 occasions last season, I can remember them scoring like that. They are brilliant in that transition, as you say, as long as it doesn't break down, because it broke down badly after they conceded that first goal against Hougang here.
Exactly, and you talk about Hassan's kicks. You know, he is one of the best at that. Gets the ball in the air and then boom, they go forward. And then we've got Gabriel Quack as well in there. We haven't spoken about him. Going forward, and you know, he can create damage as well. And like I said, you know, going forwards, they've got all the talent, all the best players. It's at the back that, you know, they've got to keep it tight a little bit, especially in transition.
Gabriel Quack, was he the best player of the Singapore Premier League for you last season? I know he got my vote. There was I think off memory, we had quite a hot debate about that. Who was he your player of the year last year?
Oh, it's a tough one. I thought he finished the season very well, you know, after the break and then the lockdown and all. He didn't start off the season very well, I got to say, and that's where we had a debate. But I think in the later stages of the season, I think he did very well. And kudos to him. I think he deserved that one.
Difficult though, isn't it? When you've got the season split up like that, it's always inevitable you're going to focus on the results and the performances at the business end. And if you're going to speak about Gabriel Quack, you've got to speak about Adam Swanley, because very similar players in that they can go wide, they bring you width, and they can be dynamic. For me, Adam Swanley was the only player that emerged from that Hougang debacle with any credit, because they did improve and create more when he came on.
Exactly, and the thing is, he's the only local player who's gone on to play for Albirex, who's done a great job. You know, when he went over to Albirex a few seasons back, he had an absolutely brilliant game there, and you know, he's one to watch as well coming in, and like the way he plays. He can play out wide on the left-hand side, play in the middle, very creative player.
So, as we have a look at the pictures showing you the empty stadium, unfortunately, we are hoping to welcome fans back to the AIA Singapore Premier League very soon. But for now, it's behind closed doors, and you've got the best seat in the house, live on Singtel Star Hub, on the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page and One Play Sports. It's round 4 underway with this game at Jalan Besar. It's the battle of who would be the Lion Kings. Last season, 5-0 and 4-0. It was very comfortable indeed for the Lion City Sailors, but there's a feeling, certainly having spoken to Chassis in our special extended pre-show, there's a sense that this is the best Young Lions team for many a season. Would you go along with that, Chassis? Is this the strongest outfit they've got? I know they're still second bottom with only 2 points and awaiting their first win, but they've been competitive and they've never ever been beaten in games this season. They've always been fighting right to the end.
I think so. I think they are one of the better Young Lions teams over the past couple of seasons. They've got some very good players, some special players. Nadim, Ilhan, the Stewart brothers, very good players in there. And you know, you talk about the players who can do the job. And the only time that this season, out of 3 games, they kind of struggled. And I think that was the game against Albirex, where, you know, when the team played those intricate passes in front of the defenders, they were really, you know, running all over the shop. So this is a real test for them against the Lion City Sailors, who are going to do the same. They've got all the players in the world, the big players in the world, going forward, and those intricate passes in front of the defense. So let's see how they handle the pressure.
What's your prediction going to be for this one, Chassis? Because it's the kind of game where you could probably have 20 goes at the correct score and not get it right.
You know, I said this at the beginning in terms of the Young Lions have not done or played with a clean sheet for 18 games. The Lion City Sailors have scored 15 games in a row. I think it's going to be Lion City Sailors. They're going to win this game comfortably in the end.
Well, they are the red-hot favourites to do so, but the assumption was that Geylang and Balestier would beat the Young Lions comfortably, and they only came away with a point. And again, without wanting to be too sensationalist about it, you have to say if they were to not win here, the Lion City Sailors, you can forgive them maybe the one bad performance against Hougang, and the opening game here against Tampines Rovers was just a 3-all cracker. But if they were to slip up here, you'd have to, I mean, only 4 games into the season, but it's only a 21-game campaign. You'd have to start asking serious questions, wouldn't you? Yeah,
of course. You know, like you said, it's 21 games, a pretty short season, so they got to get it right. There's no room for mistakes, and this game here, it is a must-win for Lion City Sailors. But having said that, also, you know, a draw, a loss, they still got another lot of games to recover. So, you know, let's hope we have a great game today. Lots of goals, obviously, especially for the neutrals.
Our referee, Y. Satya Kumar, leading his officiating team out, Lim Kok Keng, along with Ko Chun Ju. And I must say, Nathan Chan, the fourth official, for me, on the best refereeing display we've seen so far this season. Hoping to get to see him as the man in the middle again soon. The Young Lions in the red-black shorts, the Lion City Sailors in the blue, of course. Both these teams called Jalan Besar home this season, despite last year Jurong West being the home of the Young Lions and Bishan being the home of the Lion City Sailors. Both those stadiums not in use in the AIA Singapore Premier League this season. So a little later than advertised, we're ticking round to match day. 4 in the AIA Singapore Premier League. The Young Lions who go into this one second from bottom of the table. And even though they had that disaster against Hougang, if, and it's a big if, results go their way this weekend, the Sailors can still end up top of the table after a weekend of matches. That's unlikely. Of course, Hougang in action against Tampines, second against third in the other game today. And tomorrow, Geylang Balestier and Tanjung Pagar and Albrechts, all 4 teams in action there. That's where Chassis will be incidentally next Wednesday. Geylang and Balestier's clash. That's another game to look forward to on Wednesday night, isn't it? Albrechts Nagata taking on the Lion City Sailors here. Hassan Sunny and the skipper of the Young Lions, Danish Irfan. And there's another look at the lineups. Chassis, I know we've done it a couple of times, but for those joining us late, worth looking down that starting 11 once more, because there's a few players you like there. Yeah,
it's typical back 4. You know, Shahrul Sazali, Danish Irfan, Said Akmal, and Rayhan Stewart at the back. And then his brother Harris Stewart and Hamish Shine will play in the middle of the park with Joel Chu supporting Ilhan Fandi up top. That's his Philip Au.
Yeah, Philip Au, who's been put in a difficult position when a coach has to vacate the position, and we wish, obviously, Coach Nasir all the best for everyone on the production team here, and hope he recovers. It's a difficult spot he's put into there, Philippe, but the national coach, the under-15s, has done a good job. Aurelio Vidmar's in the opposite dugout, and that's the starting 11. He goes with those 4 changes to the team that was stuffed by Hougang. George Felipe and Diego Lopez in. What difference can those 2 Brazilians make from the start? If they don't make much difference, that man will be under pressure come 8 o'clock tonight.
Well, he knows what he's in for. You know, that's the job of the manager, of the coach, coming in to do a job. And I'm pretty confident with, obviously, the story of the day is George Felipe and Diego Lopez starts. Yeah, looking forward to seeing Diego Lopez for the first time from the start in an AIA Singapore Premier League match. We're about to see what $3 million of transfer fees at 80,000, I should say a reported $80,000 a month gets you for your money. Can the young guns of Singapore upset the Lion City Sailors? It's a bit like Disney's Lion King, this, with the Sailors portrayed as Scar. What was the cub called? You've got children, you know this, Chassis. What was the cub called in the Lion King? Well, someone will know. What was the cub called in the Lion King? But we'll tag the Sailors as Scar. Yeah. Answers on a postcard. I'm sure lots of you are shouting at me on the Facebook comment section now, telling me what that cub was called. It's the Young Lions in the red and black, playing from right to left. The Sailors in the blue playing from left to right, and this is a decent opening 15-second spell from the Young Lions, and this will be a good indication of how well they are at keeping possession against this Lion City Sailors team, and that's a first piece of poor distribution. He's going to need to liven that up because Noor Shafiq wants that back, Chassis. Yeah, and Noor Shafiq had more time than that just to, you know, kick the ball out. He needs to keep possession of the ball better. That's immediately given the initiative back to the Sailors, which they themselves waste, although some high press here. Nearly gets Gabriel Packer the way at the races. Notice as well there were some number changes this season, unless I'm much mistaken, for the Lion City Sailors, because I think there was musical numbers, bearing in mind Diego Lopez probably insisted on having number 10. I think that was what probably caused the knock-on effect there. First quarter of the game, and it came out of nothing, really. First big test here, George Felipe up there. Chardin's delivery, flicked on brilliantly. Can they finish it off? They should have finished it off. It could easily have been 1-0. Still, the danger's not gone as Gabriel Quack gets it back, but that was a real chance. Was that Stipe at the near post, flicking it on Chassis? Yeah, it's a very, very good corner. Very sharp delivery from Shardan Sulaiman. Stipe with just that flick, couldn't get to anyone.
more than a half chance here, and is this the pattern for the evening here in Singapore beginning now? What are they going to be like in transition out from the back? That was their Achilles heel against Hougang. Naikudin, he's back in the starting lineup. He'll be wanting to a flawless game, because with that squad that they've got, Chassis, one thing, if you have a poor performance, they've almost got 2 players in every position, haven't they?
Right, you're very, very right. So whoever plays, you've got to be on point all the time. And it's between Nakidin and Akari at right back at the moment.
Assistant referee just indicating where the Young Lions need to take the throw-in from. It will be Shahrul to take it. And there was a bit of a handball there, I think. Yes, there was. Handball called against Amaral, who is in an advanced position. So Young Lions will get a chance to release. Bit of a scrappy opening 2.5 minutes this, Chassis. Still early days, though.
Yeah, you would expect that, especially with Young Lions trying to keep it tight in the middle.
Oh, that was well worked in midfield. He had to show some courage there as well, because that was a strong challenge that Harris Stewart was getting involved in. And Hassan Sunny, the ball will go back to him. Is this counted as a back pass? I think Hassan Sunny believes it would be, so he's taking no chances. Gets it clear, not a convincing flick on, but Stipe drops deep to collect. And they'll pick up a free kick in a game that really hasn't caught fire. From memory, it felt like in the Tampines game, in the opening day of the season, I think we'd already had about 3 goals by this point. It was so crazy, but this one just waiting to open up. Here's a sight you'll see plenty of this afternoon. Gabriel Quack being released down the right-hand side. Nice cut inside from Gabriel Quack. The attempted cross is blocked. And they'll have to regroup, but they're certainly winning the possession battle early, Shashi, as you'd expect the Sailors.
Exactly, and Justin Hui has made a good start down the left-hand side for Lion City Sailors, former Hougang player. And you can see already Young Lions setting their stall out. Very organised.
Gabriel Quack, that's inside for the option. Chardin. Bit of a nothing ball that in the middle. I think just hoping for a Young Lions mistake more than anything. That was well played. Out of danger, and they can turn and bring it away with a delightful ball down the left-hand side, and they're in business here. Down they come, the sensation, Kyrene Nadim. Just couldn't cut inside to get a shot away, but this is the first glimpse of what the Young Lions can do coming forward this season. Kyrene Nadim, well, he sold a bill of goods there, and he turned the Sailors inside out, and they win a corner.
Oh, that's great play for the Young Lions, and it all started out with Joel Chu. What a brilliant play down the middle, and then this boy here, we spoke about his composure. Look at this, absolutely brilliant, cutting inside, outside on Nakyudin there, and not a bad delivery as well.
Naikudin was beating all ends up, seemingly with ease, and it was George Felipe who had to send it behind for a corner. So remember, they conceded the first goal at this end of the field against Hougang in that last game before the break. Just seeing who's drawn the short straw. He's being picked up by George Felipe for the Young Lions. I think it's Ilhan Fandi that George Felipe is marking. Taking forever and a day to work out what they want to do with this corner. And referee just wanting them to get on with it as Shirel's corner is delivered. Decent delivery as well, and belted away by Stipe Plazibat. Well, that was a real bit of excitement there, seeing a first glimpse at Kyrene Nadim, and you were brilliantly spotting that out, Chassis. That Joel Chu pass was the kind of pass that he was playing when he had his opportunities at Tampines. He's another creative man in midfield that can hopefully release passes as our referee. Anything in this? He wants a word?
No, that was just a late tackle there. There you can see that. Very, very late indeed. Is that Nur Adam?
Yeah, he might have got away with one there, Nur Adam. Another day, maybe later in the game, you'd have got in the book for that, I think. Oh, the Young Lions at the moment very much in this game. And again, I know we've had poor old Tanjung Pagar still struggling despite having improved, but by and large, and again, it's not just a situation where you have to say it because you're working on it this year or anything like that. The league, the quality of the league and the competitive nature of the league's definitely improved this season, Chassis, hasn't it?
I think so. And even you spoke about the lesser teams, no disrespect, they're still... Deary
me, that Amaral attempted back pass come clearance. Yeah, I mean, I say lesser teams, not derogatory, but that's, you have it in every league in the world, don't you, really? There are teams that perennially seem to struggle. But what I'm saying is that the mid-teams, the likes of Hougang, the likes of Galang, the continuity that Balestier have had, they've all improved. And I think it means this season we'll see more of those teams getting results like Hougang did against the Lion City Sailors.
I'm sure.
Obviously, Balestier took a point off Alborex as well. Not many people thought that would be the case.
Exactly, I'm sure. And they're very, very competitive. And you know, you talk about Balestier as well, and even Tanjung Pagar, except for that game against Lion City Sailors where they got romped in the second half. But apart from that,
nice work from Harris Stewart there. And a lovely first-time volley. That would have been sensational from Ilhan. Harris Stewart and Ilhan linking up, and all of a sudden, just like that, 7 minutes in, it's the young Lions that have had the best of the chances.
I tell you what, his dad will be very proud of this. Look at this. Superb ball control down on his left-hand side. They took it on his second touch. Look at this. Absolutely brilliant ball control. He knows it as well, but the finish wasn't that right.
Tell you what, that goes in after that ball from Stewart, and you could end the goal of the season competition right now. So, signs that the young Lions are prepared to be adventurous here and are not going to be overawed by the price tags attached to some of these boys in blue. Hassan Sunny trying to release quickly, a trademark of his game. Only finds the red shirt, and the young Lions have invited a bit of pressure on themselves here because the Sailors are in action down the left. Lovely cut inside. And eventually, it will still stay with a blue shirt. Saifullah picks it up and gets it back to Shada. Man down over on that far side still, Sashi. I think he wanted a free kick. Anything in it?
No, I think it was Raihan Stewart who did very well. He did just enough to shrug him off. And I think it was Nur Adam there. Late tackle on him, but good run.
Was that a receipt for Nur Adam's late challenge about a couple of minutes ago?
I tell you what, that was a very good challenge from Raihan. See here, that touch, that was a good tackle.
Played the ball. You get that wrong and you're going to almost certainly get a yellow card from in that position on the field, aren't you?
I think it was from the follow-through from Syed Akmal that caught Nur Adam. He should be okay.
Just the magic spray. What's in that magic spray, Shasi?
It's magic.
It used to be the sponge back in the day when I was playing. Now they've progressed to sprays. But it's done the trick. Nur Adam is up on his feet, and 9 minutes in, still goalless.
He just numbs the pain, Patrick, and then that's it. And then the next day, you're going to feel sore all over.
Well, I know the Lion City Sailors, their infrastructure they're implementing at the football club in terms of the medical care and training and the whole picture of the club with that wonderful academy. Luka Lalic, a first-class coach who's had experience working with Feyenoord in Holland, is now heading up the academy in what's become a very competitive field, academy football in Singapore, Shasi, hasn't it?
Yeah, there are many around now. You've got the JSSL, the LCS Academy.
Now, George Felipe, given lots of time and space, tries to drift it over to Stipe Plazima, who really just drifted off there, hoping for the mistake that didn't come. And they're being very assured with their football, the young Lions. I think when I saw them on occasion last season in this corresponding fixture that was played at Jurong West, they could have been in front early in that game as well. They just seem to lack that extra bit of firepower that now, with the likes of Ilhan having Karin Nadims to support him, I think they've got more options up front, which before you used to see the skills side to side in midfield, but penetratively they weren't the best. That's changed now.
The three players in the middle of the park are really, really neat and tidy on the ball, never gives the ball away. Joel Chu, Haris, and of course Hami Shahin. Hami Shahin just sitting in there with Haris. Got to defend here now.
Yes, space on the left-hand side. Gabriel Quack's made a run. Is he onside? I don't think he is. The flag's going to go up. Yeah, I think that was spot on. The call, the ball just delayed a fraction of a second. Let Gabriel Quack drift offside. And if they are going to play as a strong defensive line here, I mean, they play a three at the back, Chassis, these young Lions, to try and... At times it looks like they're playing three at the back, isn't it, and crowd out the midfield.
But today I think they're a typical back four.
Switched inside, that's a loose pass. Picked up by Saifullah. I think in the modern game as well, Chassis, I mean, I know you're a student of the game, you've coached in this division. Formations, particularly in the latter parts of games sometimes go out the window. You're more reacting to the way the game's being played than saying, right, we're going to be 4-4-2 rigidly all the way throughout. Because now footballers at this level will always try and bomb forward, particularly the fullbacks. You're always going to see them herring forward, aren't you? And there's a defender as that ball comes over the top for Gabriel Quack, who just can't get there before Nur Shafiq gathers. The footballers are encouraged to come forward, and there's midfielders who know their role is to drop back when the fullbacks come forward.
Yeah, it's exactly that. And we talk about you know, situations in a game, and that can change. So if you are going to stick to a rigid formation, then it's going to be a problem. So footballers nowadays, they got to think. You know, they need thinking footballers.
Well, the early indications are that these young Lions of 2021 are improved from a team that didn't disgrace themselves, let's not remember. They avoided the wooden spoon, got that big win against Tanjung Pagar United, and they'll win a free kick here over on that far side. And telling for me that the two Stewart brothers in the middle of the park are not going hiding here. They're standing up to this challenge, as the likes of Diego Lopez, and it says something about them that 12 and a half in, we've hardly mentioned Diego Lopez, Chassis.
Exactly, you're very, very right. And there, Zamani did very, very well to get in between the man and the ball. Very clever play to win that foul. And the funny thing is, the young Lions are playing all the pretty football.
Well, at the moment, you'd have to say, am I right in saying the young Lions are the better team in this?
I think so. You're not wrong there. They're playing very good football, especially through the middle.
But I will caution it by saying in that 4-0 game that I covered at Geelong West, they were the better team for the first half an hour there before losing 4-0. And remember, it was goalless when the teams met at Bishan last season before a Jacob Marler own goal seconds after the restart. It was the first of an avalanche of 5 goals. And also remember, the Lion City Sailors were goalless against Tanjung Pagar at Jurong East earlier in this season before, a game you covered, I believe, Chassis, before conceding 5 there in the second half. So it's a game played over 90 minutes now. They'll have defending to do here, because if the Sailors can move the ball quickly and play in Gabriel Quack, who this time is onside. Gabriel Quack to the edge of the area. Stipe waits in the middle, tries to square it, and the fluffed opportunity from Saifullah. And that, again, just illustrates how they can break quickly.
Yeah, exactly, and that's where Gabriel Quack comes in. Does very well with the outside of his left foot there. Playing it to Saifullah, who had to take it first time, and didn't get a clean connection on that.
You're watching live AIA Singapore Premier League action on Singtel Star Hub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page and One Play Sports. After that pesky international break, we're back with a league that has greatly improved this season. That's very dangerous, Nur Shafiq. That's what you were highlighting before the game, Chassis. Yeah. If you're going to play that kind of football, you've got to get it right. Was that handball by Sharda? No, referee plays on. George Felipe. Plenty of time and space for Felipe to pick a pass, and pick a pass he does. Noor Adams on the overlay here. Noor Adam on the overlap with a cross coming in. Heads her up, off the crossbar, Stipe Plazibat. Close as we come to a goal, 15 minutes in, Chassis Kuba.
Oh, great ball in from Noor Adam, and it was great play from Justin Hui as well. A good piece of skill down the left-hand side. And then this ball in from Noor Adam. What a ball. Onto the head of Stipe Plazibat, just when he thought he couldn't miss. The ball hits the bar. And that's a chance for you, and that's the danger for the young Lions. And it all was from that mistake, trying to play out from the back.
Yes, Nur Shafiq invited that spell of pressure. I think that's something they might have to revisit. I like having an argument with everyone these days about the benefits of these short goal kick routines that, for me, are an accident waiting to happen, particularly if you're a team like the Young Lions who are going to be pressed by the Lion City Sailors. They're coming again, Saifullah. The Sailors now trying to build up a head of steam, but Nur Shafiq gets there before Stipe. Incidentally, Stipe Plazibat, top scorer last season, remember, even though he missed the vast chunk of the running of the campaign. This season, Tomoyuki Doi, 4 goals, leads the charge. Stipe Plazibat is one of 2 Sailors players on 3. Sugul Yong, who starts on the bench, and already a couple of goals this season for Gabriel Quack, and for the Young Lions, of course, Khairi Nadim. So plenty of goal-scoring ability out there, and even though it's goalless 15 minutes in, a couple of gilt-edged goal-scoring opportunities have been created. They're giving George Felipe all the time in the world to pick a pass, and that header needed to be made.
And we talk about playing out for the back, and that is what George Felipe can do as well, playing those balls into the channels.
Oh, lovely turn. Wonderful from Diego Lopez. First sight of the Brazilian making his magic happen, but he's being hassled and harried. He's going to have to produce something here. Manages to get the ball away, but that was encouraging that Harris Stewart was all over him like a rash there. And at the end of the day, Diego Lopez with time on the ball. It's not come to very much, and now the Young Lions can break at pace. Down this left-hand side, they motor. Looking up for the option, Joel Chu squares it. Oh, it goes down, and it gets the free kick. George Felipe coming through the back, and he'll get a yellow card as well. Well, I'm not so sure about the yellow card. I think you give a free kick there, but the cynic in me says that they knew exactly what they were doing there. Was that a yellow card for you?
I think he bought it there. Look at this. Minimal. Oh, there was touch. All right, I'll take that back. It was stuck to the calves of Ilhan Fandi.
Well, Ilhan Fandi wins a free kick. George Felipe on debut goes into the books, and that's a centre-back on a yellow card with 3/4 of the game remaining. And now, everything I've seen of Khairi Nadim's right foot would lead me to suggest he'll be hitting this. I'm just trying to work out who's over the ball. Joel Chu is another player that can be handy from a set piece. And in fact, is that Shirel? Yeah, Shirel and Joel Chu. So Khairi Nadim's not going to have any of it.
It really could go either way, left or right footer.
Yeah, it's the perfect distance, isn't it? Just outside the area to get it up and over. Joel Chu looks to me to be the more likely, or will it be Shirel? Shirel was on target. Hassan Sunny had it all the way. Just for a minute, I thought he might have got Hassan Sunny wrong-footed, but Singapore's #1 plucks it quite comfortably.
Yeah, it was had the accuracy, but not the...
Lovely ball through here. Oh, the keeper's come. Noor Shafiq's not get there. Saifullah to make it 1-0. A brilliant sliding save from the Young Lions. Wonderful work.
Wow.
From Ryan Stewart has presented a certain goal here.
That was a great ball in, and the goalkeeper was nowhere in sight. And look at this sliding tackle. Absolutely brilliant from Ryan Stewart there.
Look at the change of pace he showed as well to get back and anticipating. You talked about thinking footballers, Chassis. Yeah. That's what you want from a footballer, anticipating what's going to come next. He lost the battle with Saifullah, but he hadn't lost the battle with the ball crossing the goal line. As the corner comes in and George Felipe takes the tumble, they'll have to make do with a throw. It's an absorbing game, this, Chassis, isn't it? Goalless, but you still get the feeling it's nervy watching if you're a Lion City Sailors fan, even though they could pop in and open the scoring at any minute, and that any minute should have been now. Gabriel Quack has somehow contrived to miss after another defensive fouler from the Young Lions.
That is what I'm talking about. It seems to be very, very comfortable for Sharul Sazali, and then he does this, and they got away with that one. Gabriel Quack, if it was a right footer, that would be goal.
Yeah. That's the Achilles heel in both these sides' games, really, to this point this season. Defensive lapses. Obviously, George Felipe in the starting 11 today for the Sailors, which you would hope would encourage their chances of a clean sheet. But for all they show some real flair coming forward, the Young Lions. Is that just an experience sometimes in those testing situations at the back which lead to those mistakes, Chassis?
Exactly, it's experience, and that's what you talk about, young players being inconsistent, doing ever so well 1 minute and then losing focus the other.
We got a first goal of the afternoon, and it's come at the Hougang Stadium. The Cheetahs lead the Stags. What a season Clement Teo's Hougang are having. They took the lead in the first half against the Sailors here before the break. They've taken the lead in the first half against the Stags tonight. Hougang 1, Tampines Rovers 0. Goal scorer confirmation to follow. Don't forget that game is also being streamed live on the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page and One Play Sports. It's live on Singtel and StarHub as well. Here, still goalless, but Gabriel Quack should have given the lead to the Sailors, and Stipe Plazibat struck the crossbar with a header. But the Young Lions have had their moments as well, Chassis, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly, with that volley from Ilhan Fandi and the free kick as well. They're not being overawed here. Some players who've done so well so far.
Look at the space they've got here. It's opened up for Harry Stewart, and he's got options to left and right. Takes the option on the right-hand side. Cross is a decent one, and that's a strong clearance from Amaral. Stipe Plazibat with a wonderful knock on. Diego Lopez now will link up again with Plazibat, and Lopez is herring through the middle. Got Gabriel Quack over on this near side as well, but Stipe is going to have to go on his own. Was there a tug of the shirt there? There was, and the referee will bring them back. And Sethy Kimar's got a decision to make here, whether he keeps his card in his pocket, and he does.
There's a cheap one there to give away. They've got Hami Shahin and Zamani in there as well. Let's see whether this is a foul. Just a little bit of a tug there from Hami Shahin.
He's disguised it well, though, hasn't he? Just a fraction of a tug.
Yeah, and again, it's a free kick in a dangerous area.
Well, all eyes on Stipe Plazibat again here. He was very effective at the first corner of the game they had, not so since. Here's another trajectory from a set piece to be delivered. Edge of the 6-yard box and headed over the bar under the circumstances, probably the right way to go for the skipper, Danish Irfan.
Yeah, good defensive header there. He had to get there. Very good delivery, I gotta say. In swinging one. And Stipe just lurking behind Danish Irfan there. He had to get there.
So, Sharda with another corner. In swinger. Oh, what a chance from George Felipe. Chassis highlighted how influential he might be, not just defending set pieces, but attacking them as well before the game, and that very nearly was his first goal in Singapore football.
Well, that's a miss. That is a miss. A let-off for the young Lions there. Look at that, in the 6-yard. Just got in front of his man, Sharul Sazali. He should have made it 1-0.
Now, does it follow that the fact George Felipe's picking up Ilhan on defensive corners, that it should be reciprocated at the other end? Because Ilhan really is probably the only player with anything like the height to deal with him out there.
Well, it depends on Felipe who he wants, because everything is set before the game. As a coach, you want it to be specific as possible, especially from defending corners and set pieces. Another goal
at Hougang. Hougang 2, Tampines Rovers 0. That would be some scoreline. Hougang United, remember, who had a brilliant campaign in 2019, qualified for the AFC Cup, then were pretty mediocre by their own standards in 2020. Had problems with the foreign players as well going before the season finished. Clement Tio's made some astute signings with Tomoyuki Doi coming in, as Noor Shafiq will gather that. And, well, at the moment, they are the team to be with. They came here and beat the Sailors 3-1, and now they've taken the Stags to Hougang, where I'm sure the Halls are gathered outside the stadium, and they're winning 2-0. Tomoyuki Doi and Yamasaki, though, they'd improve any team, wouldn't they?
Yeah, exactly. They will provide you with something.
Amaral did the hard work there, then just couldn't find a pass, and now the young Lions can show their ambition coming forward on the quick counter, but it's going to need better controlling than that. And it's dropped to Stipe Plazibat. Gabriel Crack to his left. He's got an option through the middle as well. And it's come to Noor Adam. Noor Adam, he's got a license to bomb forward, hasn't he? He's playing more as a winger, really, than a fullback. And that's out for a throw.
Yeah, you're very right there. Noor Adam, he's anywhere but at left back.
Well, if it's goals that you want, you need to be watching Hougang Tampines now. Hougang 2, Tampines 1. 3 goals in the first half of the first half. That game kicking off at the same time as this one. So it's raining goals at Hougang here. No goals, but an absolutely absorbing contest nonetheless. Tomoyuki Doi, he got the opener for Hougang, by the way, so that's his 5th of the season. So Stipe Plazibat, who I know cherishes that Golden Boot award, will be, I'm sure, earmarking a game like this, Chassis, to notch a couple. He's already hit the crossbar. George Felipe, who had a very good chance from a set piece that he sent wide.
And just very interesting to see Noor Adam's position here. As soon as they've gotten the ball, he's right in the middle of the park.
They've lost possession on this occasion now, and they're showing some great composure. Young Joel Chiu having a great game for me in the middle of the park for the young Lions. They're looking to get Ilhan in over the top there, but Amaral will get there first. And that's well won in the air as well. Harris Stewart. Tomoyuki Doi, incidentally, got both the goals for Hougang, so I know he was disappointed, Tomoyuki Doi, to miss out on the Golden Boot to Stipe last season, who of course started last season with Hougang, Stipe Plazibat. Tomoyuki Doi is building up a nice little lead here in the Golden Boot race. 6 goals now through less than 3.5 games this season. Well, that's a loose pass. They can pick this up in the middle. Oh, Diego Lopez fell over, regained his footing, and if he doesn't slip there, he'd have been through on goal, Chassis.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Fantasy footwork. Wonderful stuff from Jaime. Apologies, not Jaime. That was Kairid Nadim. He's really got something about him, hasn't he? Chassis in possession, he looks so comfortable. Stipe Plazibat. Gabriel Quack is onside into the area. Gabriel Quack, is this the opener? Yes, it is! Gabriel Quack with his 3rd of the season. And they carved them open a little bit too easily there, Chassis Kumar.
Yeah, what a brilliant goal with his left foot, and you always knew what he was going to do there. As he opens up his body, look at this. And the defense came a little bit too late, the sliding tackle from the skipper, or Said Akmal rather. And very interesting, as soon as the ball went in, Philip Au was talking to Ilan Fandi, where he lost the ball in the middle of the park, which resulted in that chance. And that's what you get with the Lion City Sailors. You can't afford to give them chances away.
And frustratingly, that goal the Young Lions have conceded just before the drinks break. A shocking time to concede a goal, really, because it changes the outlook of what I'm sure Philippe will say to them when he gets that couple of seconds downstairs. Something we must mention there, it's often overlooked area of his play because he's associated as being an out-and-out goal scorer. But Stipe Plazibat is one of the least selfish, prolific goal scorers I think I've seen in any league, in any football. And you see what he did there. It was the most simplest of passes, but so effective.
And I said this in the game against Tanjung Pagar. He could have had a hat-trick, but he gave that penalty when he had a penalty, gave that ball away to Faris Ramli, I think, to take that penalty. And he's that unselfish. You know, as a striker, that's hard to see. You know, in a top striker, you always want to get a hat-trick. You always want to, you know, get in there. But he has been brilliant.
So we'll restart with this goal from Gabriel Quack, his third of the campaign, giving the Sailors the breakthrough. But the Young Lions have been competitive to this point. Of course, the concern will be they were competitive in both first halves last season, ended up losing the two games last campaign, 5-0 and 4-0. So is history going to repeat itself here? This is what you learn about character in a team. And certainly against Balestier and Geylang this season, they have shown a character in abundance, not knowing when they're beaten. They're going to have to draw upon more reserves of that here.
Exactly, and especially against Balestier, they were down by 2.
Small one in the air by Harris Stewart. He's a real physical presence, doesn't mind getting involved, and he gets his rewards there. Harris Stewart, he's onside here. The boy wonders through on goal, Kyrin Nadim, and George Felipe across like lightning. That was more than half a chance.
I don't think that the touch was good enough from Nadim, but George Felipe had to cover that ground and did ever so well. And good advantage play by the referee as well.
Disappointed there, Kyrin Nadim. It was opening up for him, and from what we've seen of his right foot so far this season, if he'd have managed to get a strike on there, Hassan Sunny would have had little chance. So the chance has come and gone. Another good ball there from Harris Stewart. You highlighted it before the match, Shassi, and he's really impressing so far. Young Lions aren't playing badly by any stretch. Oh, Kyrin Nadim going through his box of tricks and then missing out. Stipe slips over. A couple of these players struggling for their footing. It's been raining quite heavily this afternoon. It doesn't appear to be too much in the way of standing water on the surface.
Zamani needs to do better there at the right side of play. Can't give the ball away too cheaply. No pressure.
Just before the half-hour mark, and the Lion City Sailors get the breakthrough, which takes the pressure off to a certain extent. But the Young Lions, I'm sure, have got a goal. The way they're playing, Shassi, you get the feeling they've got a goal in them here. They were beaten 5-0 and 4-0 last season. You get the feeling they are going to get on the score sheet here at some point, don't you?
Yeah, I think so too. And, you know, I quite like the way Joel Chu has started the game as well. Absolutely brilliant, playing just behind Ilan Fandi.
Physically, they're being a real match for this costly assembled Lion City Sailors. Diego Lopez, again, not really standing out at this point, Shassi, but he's doing what he has to do competently enough, right?
Yeah, I think so. But, you know, like you said, been pretty anonymous so far.
Yes. I'm sure we'll get a glimpse of his magic potential as Harris Stewart picks it up again. That's a really well thought out ball down the right-hand side, and another heavy touch. That's the Sailors off the hook.
The brothers combining there down the right-hand side with Raihan in the end with a heavy touch, and George Felipe will eat that up the whole day.
He's got that long striding gait, hasn't he, George Felipe? Covers ground incredibly quickly. Is that a moustache I see as well? Not enough footballers have moustaches. Is that a moustache, or did I imagine that?
It is, mate.
Be coming for your crown, Chassis, as the #1 facial hair wearer in Singapore. So Fula might get to this. Gets the lucky bounce once. He doesn't get the lucky bounce twice, and it's out of play, and that will be a Young Lions throw. is Ryan Stewart. George Felipe getting in an advanced position momentarily. The Lions get a chance to alleviate the pressure, courtesy of a free kick, which they take quickly. Danish Irfan finds the option on this near side. Shirul. Shirul again, inside. Joel Chu picks it up, nice one, touch and go. And now it's opened up for them down the right with some space to run into. Kyrie Nadim's drifted off on this left-hand side. If they can find it, it might find him as well. Kyrie Nadim! I think that might come off Ilhan Sand as well, but he's very clever off the ball, isn't he, Kyrie Nadim? He ghosted himself into a bit of space there, and the Lions City Sailors haven't picked him up.
And again, the influence of Joel Chu here on the ball. He's got a very good first start, Joel Chu. Always plays it in front of him. And then that cross, finding Nadim.
Oh, again, Harris Stewart trying to pick a pass. It might still come to Kyrie Nadim. And that's a good recovery from Naikudin because he was under pressure there. Gabriel Quack, scorer of the game's only goal so far. In the 27th minute, after being put through by Plazibat, now he tries to release the Sailor over on that far side, and there's another clumsy challenge, or is it? No, referee waves on, and I think he got that one right, Chassis.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he overran that one, Justin.
Well, if it stays 1-0, I'd fear really for the Young Lions in this situation if they were to go 2 down, but at 1-0, Philippe can get them in at half-time, maybe just reiterate that they have been in this game, haven't they?
Yeah, but it's a long way to go. It's more than 10 minutes to go in this first half. And you've got to keep it tight, but going forwards, they still offer something, you do feel, with Nadim and Ilhan, Joel Chu in there.
Certainly there could be no allowance of it taking this Young Lions team too lightly for the Sailors in the second half. Now Diego Lopez is in some space. Plazibat peels off. Diego Lopez running at the defence. Diego Lopez might pull the trigger. Instead plays it to Plazibat, who's unmarked, onside, and scores. Stipe Plazibat with his 4th of the campaign. Diego Lopez instrumental in the build-up. And you were so right, Chassis. 12 minutes to half-time. Could be an eternity when you're playing strikers and forward players with this kind of ability.
Wow, what a great play. Great composure by Stipe Plazibat there. He didn't take it first time, didn't take it the second time as well. Look at this, clipped ball, just right for Stipe. Brilliant. To have the composure to play it to the far post. Absolutely brilliant there. Classy finish.
So Plazibat and Quack. Diego Lopez heavily involved in that second goal as well. Smiles all round for the Sailors. Yeah, and this is where you would fear for the Young Lions now, Chassis, because 1-0, the belief that you're in a game where a goal gets you right back in it now, if they do start to push forward, the Sailors, you know, in their defence, the Sailors, they've gone 2-0 up here and they haven't really gone through the gears yet, have they?
Yeah, I think
it's
so.
just been very methodical. If the shackles come off in the second half and the fresh legs are introduced, the likes of Adam Swandy, Song Yong, Hafiz Noor even, do you get the feeling it could get ugly quickly? But the Young Lions have shown they've got ability in them themselves. Here's Shirul, still Shirul. They're standing off it. Can he pull the trigger, Shirul? Still gets it back. Joel Chu now. I think that came off maybe George Felipe, I'm not entirely sure, but the deflection went through to Hassan Sunny.
And the funny thing is, the Young Lions, they haven't done badly either.
They've been competitive, haven't they? But just defensively, they are suspect. And let's give them the credit as well that they have got on paper what is the most impressive attacking unit in the division up against them. Saifullah. No look pass from Naikudin. Gets it back to Gabriel Quack. Now Amarul. Of course, now the Sailors also will be able to play with a bit more confidence. Oh, and there's an example of that confidence as they get turned inside out, the Young Lions, by Justin Hui. Gets it to Stipe Plazibat, player on the overlap. Plazibat tried to selflessly again play him through. Couldn't quite unpick that particular defensive wall from the Young Lions.
Great play from Justin Hui, wasn't it? Down the left-hand side, beating his player for dead. Good piece of skill.
Saifullah. Amaral to Felipe. Look at this run from Naikudin, but it's gone to Plazibat instead, but Naikudin still waits in the middle. Plazibat, outside of the foot, trying to get it to Diego Lopez. Can't quite find him, and Joel Chu can bring it away for the Young Lions. And a winning free kick as well, after Shardan was adjudged to have committed the foul.
Yeah, that's really poor defending in the middle of the park, or middle in defense. Said Akmal and Danish Irfan as the ball comes in. This is the foul. Just before that, the ball over the top. They have got to be defending better than that.
Here's Kairin Nadim. Kairin Nadim up against Naikudin. He's won that battle once already today, but not this time. Naikudin keeps his eye on the ball well and sends it out for a throw.
It's a good contest down the right-hand side here between Naikudin and that man there, Nadim. Going outside. This man this time around, Naikudin does very well.
Shiro with the throw. Oh, Shardan left that. Might not have been the wisest decision. Diego Lopez clears it, and it does go to a blue shirt, and Diego Lopez tries to get on the end of the return pass and does. And furthermore, he releases Stipe Plazibat. All of a sudden, it's 3-on-3 if Stipe can get clear here, and Stipe does get clear. He's got his man beaten. Stipe Plazibat with a cross. Diego Lopez can't get on the end of it, and again, it's that man, Harris Stewart, who battles back and keeps the Brazilian away from the ball.
And that's very, very strong play down the right-hand side by Stipe Plazibat. Very strong. Tried to get his partner in crime to the scene there. You see pass side Akmal too easily. And then you said it, great defending from Harris Stewart.
Just is enough there, doesn't he, to worry Lopez out of it. The fitness levels of the Young Lions look supreme as well. All the players covering some serious real estate. Now, he's asking him to take it from the correct position. I thought for a minute it was a foul throw, but just not taking the correct position. So referee Sathi Kumar gets Shirel to take it back to the correct spot. And I think he did call a foul throw because he took it in the wrong position. And they are now allowed to do that, aren't they? The law's changed on that, I believe. Was that what it was for? I'm just looking back on that. Was it the wrong position or?
It looks like it, and very unnecessary here for Young Lions.
Strange one, that. Back out for another throw. Into the final 6 minutes we go. Still at Hougang. It's Hougang United 2, Tampines Rovers 1. Brace for Tomoyuki Doi and 1 for big bad Boris Kapinovic. 2-1 to the Cheetahs. And if that game stays 2-1 to Hougang, it will be Hougang at the top of the AIA Singapore Premier League tonight. Of course, Albrecht's in action at Jurong East against Geylang tomorrow. Badastir Tanjung Pagar the other game. Looking forward to seeing Norani's Geylang in action tomorrow against Albrecht's, bearing in mind how Badastir played against them. Silvano now a fixture as Ilhan gets it to Kairin Nadim. Kairin Nadim squares it. They've got red shirts forward here. Can they get the shot away, though? Across the face of goal it goes, and it was a real opportunity. The pullback was top draw, and they sent it over. And that is a chance that Jaime really should have buried Chassis.
Yeah, this was good play again down the left-hand side. Nadim started it, and then this pullback, this cutback was beautifully done. And Hami Shayan, that's a miss. It's a let-off for the LCS team. But yeah, this was brilliantly done there. The cutback, just had to keep it down.
Stewart brothers again involved in some very impressive build-up play from the Young Lions. They've just got to put one of these chances away. George Felipe now. Paul travels in slow motion to that far side where Justin Hui picks it up. George Felipe. That's a very ambitious pass that's trying to pick Saifullah, who's offside.
It seems to be his favorite ball as well, that diagonal ball from left to right.
So 4 minutes to half time. Sailors with a clear advantage here, but plenty to like about this game, including George Felipe's very impressive moustache. Danish. Young Lions have had enough chances to have got a couple of goals in this first half. Can they get one just before half-time? Ilhan. And he can deflect that into the direction of Felipe, who heads it back to Hassan Sunny.
Yeah, ball that was really ambitious, and can't expect Ilhan to do anything, especially with him one man up top against Amirul Adli and George Felipe.
Nur Adam. So Fula. Sailors going from side to side to try and find the spaces, and Gabriel Crack with a miscommunication there with Naikudin.
Naikudin was so far off, can't expect him to. He's quick, but not that quick.
Chirul, pace has noticeably dipped, hasn't it, in the last 3 minutes of this. Both sides almost putting their cue in the rack to get in for half-time. I don't think we'll have too much time added on for stoppages, one, maybe two. Tends to be two is the new one now in stoppages. Now you have that water break, isn't it?
Yeah.
And 4 and 5 are the new 3. Used to always be 1 and 3 like clockwork. Here is Ryan Stewart. Stewart brothers having a real positive impact in this game. As we approach half-time, anything, if you're Philip Paul, you're thinking of changing, or is the message going to be just keep on playing as you're playing, because the chances have come?
Well, it's instead of foul, foul is given, but yeah, the only problem that the Young Lions have is the players that they've got on the bench in terms of providing a spark going forwards. That's a problem for me, but you got to keep on working.
Welcome back to Jalan Besar, where after, what's it now, 5 halves of football, the aggregate score over the last 3 months, a bit longer than that, 5 months between the Young Lions and the Lion City Sailors is now 11-0. But the Young Lions were not forlorn hopes there. In fact, they started arguably the better chassis as our half-time highlight wrap will show.
I think they had a very good start to the game. You know, they played the pretty football, and this was the first chance. That ball from Stewart, absolutely brilliant. Look at this. Great on the chest, and then with the left foot, not so accurate, but that was a chance that I said that his dad would have been proud of. Look at this take on the chest.
Would have been a goal of the season contender
I
after
think
the
so.
great ball in as well if he'd have finished it off Ilhan. Then 7 minutes after that, Stipe Plazibat hitting the crossbar, so the danger signs were there for the Young Lions, even though they look good coming forward.
Yeah, great cross from Nur Adam, and from there, you would say he should have scored that goal. A let off for the Young Lions then, but great cross in from left back, who wasn't really playing in a left back position all day in the first half, Nur Adam.
How about this for a defensive clearance from Ryan Stewart when it looked like Saifullah just had to slide the ball into an empty net?
Yeah, it looked like he was already beaten, Ryan Stewart, and you said it during comms, and a brilliant recovery, and with his left foot there, did ever so well to recover, but you thought this would have been goal, definitely a goal, but great tackle.
Does Nur Shafiq look a little bit of a liability? I know it's not easy being in goal against a team like this, but he's had a couple of wobbly moments, and here he would have had another one if Gabriel Quack had got a proper contact on that.
Oh, he had a proper right foot there. But again, mistake from Sharul Sazali as the ball comes in. He just totally miskicked that one. If he had used his right foot, probably he could have gotten the goal.
The two Brazilians on debut, full debut that is for the Sailors, and one of them, the centre-back, Jorge Felipe, should have opened the scoring there with that header midway through the half.
Yeah, I think so. He should have gotten a goal there. Great delivery, right on the money, right on the head of Jorge Felipe, and I should have made it 1-0 there.
But 27 minutes in, with the last kick of the game before the water break, Gabriel Quack put through with the most simple but delightful of passes from Plazibat 1-0.
Yeah, too much of space, too much of time given to Gabriel Quack, and if you give that space, give that time to Gabriel Quack, he's always going to punish you. Great left foot, obviously. We know he has a great left foot, opens his body up, and boom, far post, no chance for Nur Shafiq.
I asked the question, what $3 million and 80 grand, a reported 80 grand, I should keep adding that, a month gets you? And this is the answer. Diego Lopez, instrumental in the build-up. Plazibat given way too much space. 2-0.
Then it's all about the final ball, the final decision-making, and Diego Lopez has that brilliant dink ball here. Looks up, plays into Stipe Plazibat. Brilliant play there with the drag back, and then no chance for Nur Shafiq.
So they've got a mountain to climb here, the Young Lions, but in fairness, they have been in the game, and the Stewart brothers, who you highlighted before the match, are involved in this build-up, and this really should be 2-1. Jaime missing the chance.
This is a sitter there, Jaime Shahin, a player of his caliber. He should have made it 2-1. Pretty simple finish with his left foot, and he knows it as well. You can tell from his reaction. A good cutback, and absolute sitter here. Jaime Shahin, all he needed to do was get over the ball.
You've got to hit the target, haven't you? And that really is the problem. Just the one shot on target from the Young Lions. I can't believe Gabriel Quack's ever didn't count as a shot on target, that little miss hit that Nur Shafiq ended up saving. But the Sailors in control, leading by 2-0. And keep an eye on those 2 yellow cards as well. Amaral, the 2 centre-backs, and Felipe in the book for the Young Lions. Now, Brace and Tomoyuki Doi saw Hougang race into a 2-0 lead, but Boris Kapinovic gets one back for the Stags at half-time, 2-1 there. And as it stands, Hougang are now top of the table. The Lion City Sailors are in cruise control. Can they close this game out in the second half? Join Chassis and myself for the second half, live from Jalan Besar on this Saturday night in the AIA Singapore Premier League.
AIA Vitality, your health is every choice you make. We are part of a global wellness program with over 1.65 million members in AIA across Asia. And in Singapore, we have more than 100,000 members on AIA Vitality. Members live healthier by knowing their health through online health assessments and screenings. They improve their health by logging exercises and enjoying the rewards to keep them going. And indeed, members are making improvements in their health. Even the vitality age gap has narrowed to less than a year. Best of all, you earn points for every activity. The higher your status, the greater the rewards, including up to 15% off insurance premium on selected AIA plans. To keep you going, there is the weekly fitness challenge with personalized targets to help pace and improve your fitness. When you complete the challenge, you get a spin on the Vitality Wheel to earn Vitality Coins, which you can use at the marketplace. That's not all. You also earn AIA Vitality Points for completing these activities. And very soon, you'll be on your way to Platinum status. And we sweeten the deal further with many exciting partner benefits that you can enjoy. With AIA Vitality, nothing gets better than a healthier you. So get onto AIA Vitality today because your health is every choice you make.
As the sun sets in the Lion City State, the two Lion clubs in the AIA Singapore Premier League are at half-time. Young Lions nil, Lion City Sailors 2, Gabriel Quack's third of the season, Stipe Plazouat's fourth. There's a look at the substitutes just warming up at half-time. Would you make any changes if you were Aurelio Vidmar, or for that matter, would you make any changes if you were Philippe or Chassis Kumar?
Well, if it's ain't broke, then why change? So I think the LCS shouldn't be making any changes, but I think they are going to make, what do I know, right? But yeah, there's going to be a change. Number 11 comes in.
And Hafiz.
And Hafiz no on for Justin.
And again, that's that pesky rule that I know you're not particularly a fan of,
Yeah.
Chassis. So Justin Hui replaced by Hafiz Noor, and that has been something that Aurelio Vidmar has been doing with quite regularity when it comes to half-time changes. I think in that game you did at Jurong East,
Yeah.
it was something that he impacted. And I suppose, again, whatever you think of the rules, it's become part of the game. We talked, I know
But
you heard myself and Roshan Rai talking about it. There's something that Albrechts do like clockwork.
But
they will make their changes at half-time.
But I think in this case, I think Justin Hui is a little unlucky. You know, I think he has had a very good game in the first half, combining well with Noor Adam down the left-hand side. Good touches, very neat and tidy on the ball. Didn't give the ball away.
And Akari Zulkarnain, I should say, Zulkarnain Suleiman is coming on for the Young Lions. So it'll be interesting to see who he changes there, because that'll be hard luck on any of that midfield quartet that go off for the Young Lions, because I think they've all contributed. It'll be interesting to see whether Jaime might be the man to make way, bearing in mind he's on that yellow card. We'll find out, waiting for confirmation of who will be coming off for the Young Lions. We know who's coming on.
It seems like number 16. It's Ryan Stewart.
Well, that is a bit of a surprise, isn't it? Maybe it's
Yeah.
a knock. Can't imagine he'd have taken Ryan Stewart off.
Yeah, I think he was run ragged a little bit down the right-hand side, although he did make...
Just to confirm, it's 24, sorry. It's, the noise here is quite noisy, so apologies. Yeah, 24. Zamani is off. I do apologise, these graphics are misleading here. So 24, Zamri is off, and Zulkarnain Suleiman is on, so apologies.
Yeah, Zul can play down the right-hand side of midfield as well as a right back, so he can do a job down the right-hand side. Very experienced, played for the national team already, so has been out serving national service, but he's back with the Lions team, and so probably a one-for-one change down the right-hand side.
And again, I was a bit like you when we saw that pushed in front of us, that Ryan Stewart was coming. Oh,
Yeah.
that can't be right. So it makes makes a bit more sense as Amani, who is arguably the quietest of the Young Lions outfield 10 players, is replaced by Zulkarnain. And we're about to see if Philippe, if he can produce a comeback here to get a point, he'll deserve a medal. They've done it twice already this season, remember, come from losing positions to pick up points. That's something that in recent seasons hasn't been their forte. Young Lions in the red and black playing left to right. Sailors in the blue and white playing from right to left in the second half as you watch at home live on Singtel Star Hub, the One Play Sports Facebook page, and of course the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page as well. Remember, they conceded 7 goals in 2 games in the second half, the Young Lions against the Sailors last season, and they could be under pressure early on here. Saifullah, lots of time and space. They get the ball inside to Nur Adam. Gabriel Quack, who now seems to be operating down the left-hand side. And that's something they do as well, don't they, with Gabriel Quack? He can change on occasion. Flag's going to go up for offside here. He's very versatile in that regard, isn't he?
Exactly, and I think Hafiz Noor has gone down to the right-hand side.
Hafiz Noor, one of a number of players who you feel struggle for starting bursts in what essentially is only a 21-game season. They are going to play, I think, when you combine the cup games, all the professional games of football this season in Singapore amount to, I think, 135, which sounds a lot, but when they're spread across 8 clubs, it really isn't. So a club that obviously doesn't have a long cup campaign is only really looking at a 25-game season. Oh, that was a bad leave, and it's letting Gabriel Quack here. Stipe wants it, Diego Lopez wants it, and neither of them get it. Just a bit too much on that from Gabriel Quack.
Yeah, it was a good ball, you got to say, and the defence did very well to let it go, not have a touch to the ball.
Well, Diego Lopez not afraid to get into forward positions. Lovely change of pace. He's beaten his man beautifully. Options in the middle. Diego Lopez goes down. Penalty shout there, and I think it was a strong one. And they've only given a corner. Shasi Kumar, decipher that. And have we? Is it just my imagination? I think it might just be the interior lights rather than a floodlight that went out. It did appear to get darker momentarily.
Oh, this was great play, wasn't it, from Hafiz Noor? And let's just see. Nah, I don't think it's a foul there. Hamisha,
see them given.
Yeah, he did swing a boot at it, but I think he did get a last touch to it. As the ball comes in, good ball. There, last touch from Hamisha.
That's why it's a corner, and I suppose he had to be careful. Remember, he's on a yellow card there. Corner delivered well. Stipe was up for it, drops to the edge of the area, and a thunderbolt just over the bar.
That shot was there to be taken. Saifullah from the clearance. As the ball comes out, he had to take it first time.
Stuck it sweetly, didn't he? Just couldn't keep it down.
Yeah, it's a very difficult skill as the ball is bouncing up and had to get over the ball.
Young Lions under the pump a little bit at the start of this second half, and they're being outplayed, outpassed and outthought at the moment by the Sailors. That wasn't the case, despite the fact they lost that first half 2-0. It wasn't the case in the first half. It looks to be maybe gearing up for one-way traffic here in the second stanza. Second half record of the Lion City Sailors this season is not that great. Of course, they gave up that big lead against Tampines here when they led 3-1, and it was only a 1-1 second half against Hougang in the game that they lost. Of course, they did manage to score 5 goals without a reply against Tanjung Pagar. Amarul. Game almost now exclusively being played in Lion City Sailors territory. Zulkarnain, first chance to see him on the ball. And a second chance almost straight away. Zulkarnain cutting inside, looking for support and options. It's well held up, and Diego Lopez is forced to commit the foul.
Yeah, good play there, out from the back. Zul does well. Played it for Ilhan, and Diego Lopez to give the foul away. Some might say a professional foul. There's Zul coming away. Short ball there.
Here's Ryan Stewart, thankfully still on the pitch. Zulkarnain. And bundled out by Gabriel Quack. So the Young Lions get a first chance to do something at the Lion City Sailors' final third.
Yeah, only a throw-in yet for the Young Lions down the right-hand side.
Here's Stewart with a foul throw. That's the second foul throw of the match, and that really is unforgivable. It wasn't Ryan Stewart in the first half, was it? I think it was Shirel in the first half that was penalised for a foul throw, but at this level you can't be doing that.
It's very, very frustrating, especially at this level. Can't throw properly. It's really forgivable.
And Stewart with a ball through, just not on the same wavelength as Ilhan, and only early stages, but 5 minutes in, haven't seen a glimpse of Kairin Nadim at the minute. That's obviously reflective on the fact that the Sailors are dominating possession here. I want to check in on that possession stat now, Chassis, because it's probably a little bit more reflective of that 70-30 you thought. Diego Lopez squares it for Gabriel Quack. Diego Lopez wants this back. Quack tries to find him, but can't.
Yeah, the idea was there to push the ball or pull the ball in for the running Diego Lopez. Couldn't find him.
But I'm just seeing the possession stats I have, which aren't the official possession stats, I must say, are at 50-50. So I'm just now not going to ever refer to them ever again, because it can't be right.
Can't.
So I think 70-30 might be a bit harsh on the Young Lions, but it's certainly not 50-50. Oh, George Felipe got caught out momentarily there, but gets away with it. Diego Lopez picks it up. Lopez has got the look of of a man that wants to get his first goal in Singapore football here this afternoon. He's getting further and further forward.
Yeah, and quite like George Felipe's long diagonal balls. He's got it in him to play those balls, and that's poor from Gabriel.
Yeah, he's presented the Young Lions with a chance to have a run with Joel Chu. For someone so slight, he does a great job of holding the ball up, Joel Chu, in the middle of the park. He's been arguably, along with Kairin Nadim and Ilhan, the Young Lions' brightest lights in what has been by far a disgraceful display, even though they trail by 2-0. Zulkarnain, the half-time change. Ryan Stewart. Oh, that was a great leave. And he gets it back, and Harris Stewart, well, that would have been very pretty if it had worked out. As it was, that's been their problem in this game. Chassis still only 1 shot on target through 52 minutes.
Yeah, this is beautifully done there as the ball comes in. Harris lets it go for Ilhan Fandi. A good touchback. And again, from distance, it's not going to trouble the goalkeeper like that.
George Felipe, he's forced into a mistake. Is that Harris Stewart over on that far side? How much of the ground is he covering?
Yes, it was him.
All these players are track now, aren't they? That tells you how many kilometres and metres they've covered. That was nice from Stipe Plazibat. Gabriel Quack, doesn't matter whether it's left or right. He always seems to be in space. Gabriel Quack teasing cross just beyond the run of Hafiz.
Well, Gabriel just couldn't wrap his foot around enough there. Hafiz was approaching on the far side. Yeah, cross wasn't good enough, but that was good play. Good initial play from Stipe Plazibat down the middle. Yeah, you can see what he was trying to do. Trying to get Hafiz no in that. Ball wasn't good enough.
Shafiq takes the goal kick short and quickly. Played in, looking for Kairin Nadim, who's brought down. Might win a free kick there, and I think rightly so. Apologies, it was Ilhan, wasn't it, that was in that tangle.
It's interesting to see when Faris Ramli comes on.
I mean, that's the thing. Who do they bring on? Faris Ramli? I'd like to see Adam Swandy. Yeah. That dual threat down the flanks they've got of Adam Swandy, but I suppose Hafiz Noor is more likely, I suppose, that Swandy will come on for Quack at some stage. What a lovely problem to have as a manager, though. That quality just sitting on the bench. Sogul Yong.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. Arguably one of the most consistent performers in the league over the last, 5-6 years, and he can't even get a starting berth. Zulkarnain wants this back. Zulkarnain, lovely turn inside from Joel Chu, and he does get it back to Zulkarnain. That was a wonderful passage of play. Needs a good delivery, Zulkarnain. Gets it back to Ryan Stewart. Cross from Ryan Stewart, heads her up, and just not enough power or direction on the header from Ilhan. But a good couple of minutes spell from the Young Lions, Chassis.
Yeah, good play, good interchange of passing here down the right-hand side between Zul. Then the ball comes in from Raihan.
Oh, look at that touch from Hafiz. Opened the game up brilliantly, but the pass doesn't match the touch.
Yeah, the pass again. Not good enough for the running Stipe.
They're finding some serious space out there now, the Lion City Sailors, aren't they? Game's been played in a relatively open manner from the get-go. But now, when Plazibat and Diego Lopez and George Felipe get on the ball, there doesn't seem to be anyone within 5 metres of them.
Yeah, and these are the kind of players that thrives on space and time, and you give them space and time, that's it.
Nice idea from Zulkarnain, but just couldn't get there before the blue shirt. Jaime. Chardin's been quiet by his high standards, isn't he, today? But he's maybe sort of an unrewarding role, hasn't he? Because we talked about this before, who was going to play that engine workhorse role that will enable Diego Lopez to come forward, and we found our answer tonight, haven't we? Chardin's been the one that's been occupying that anchor role in midfield. There's another late challenge that comes in. There's going to be a card here, is there? No.
Just going back to what you said, Chardin is always an efficient player as you go back to this foul there. And Chardin, always efficient.
Another heavy touch from Hafiz. Game's just petering out here. Lion City Sailors, the way they started the second half, I thought they really were coming out looking to score a hatful, but intensity of the game's just not there at the moment. It might pick up now though. Diego Lopez, is this his first goal in Singapore football? Get it to Hafiz. Hafiz twisting, turning. Hafiz over the bar. Should be 3-0, Shasi Kumar.
Well, that was, again, it should have been 3-0. Hafiz did everything right except put the ball in the back of the net. And again, Diego Lopez very instrumental as he wins the ball from the loose ball here and outside of his foot. Hafiz did very well with his first touch. Ball was slightly behind him. But his shot wasn't good enough there.
These things stand, incidentally, in the live league table as you were, and not something you want to really be doing with much glee, with only 3.5 rounds potentially gone, not even 3.5 rounds gone yet. But as it stands, Hougang will top the table. As we look at Aurelio Vidmar there, coach of the Lion City Sailors, with a win here, they would move up to second by virtue of a better goal difference than Tampines Rovers. That's if it all stays as it is, of course. Felipe, he called a powerful header. Well, Felipe, heavy touch that time, very nearly got called out. Two young Lions getting each other's way. You surprised that Hougang are beating Tampines, Shasi?
Well, not really, because the way they dismantled the Lion City side, you're always not going to be surprised with the way Hougang plays, but you don't exactly know which Hougang team will turn up.
Well, Tommy Yuki-Doyce turned up all right today with a brace. Do you think there could be more goals in this game in the final half hour? You've got to think so, don't you? If they bring another couple of fresh pairs of legs on the Sailors.
And when space opens up and players get tired, that's where they will release players like Adam Swani if he comes on, Haris Ramli or even Song.
Oh, that's a no-look pass that's worked out okay from Harris Stewart. Finds his brother. Now Zulkarnain, he's seen plenty of the ball, Zulkarnain, since his introduction in the second half. That's Jaime over the top, looking for Ryan Stewart. He'll get to this. Ryan Stewart looking for options in the middle, and George Felipe sends it behind for a corner.
Cross doesn't come in. It was cut out by George Felipe there, but good interchange of passes again. Joel Chu, very, very instrumental. And Hami Shine finally with that ball. And George Felipe did ever so well.
Joel Chu over to take this corner. Obviously the desire here is to take this short. But there are two Lion City Sailors players on top of that, which means there's plenty of space in the penalty area if Joel Chu can deliver this onto the head of Ilhan, who's being followed everywhere at set pieces by George Felipe. It's come off Amaral, hasn't it? I think it might be another corner. No. Thought it might have come off Amaral last, but there was no complaining from Harris Stewart. So you get your answer to that one. Half an hour to go. We need something to happen in this game, Shasi. It is beginning to ebb away, isn't it? Yeah,
Ben, LCS, they are very, very comfortable.
Oh, that's a good steal from Zulkarnain, though. Good hustle from Zulkarnain. Gets the better of Noor Adam, who's going to be in the book here for a blatant piece of retaliating. Incidentally, still no red card in the AIA Singapore Premier League this season. I suppose that's a good thing, whichever way you look at it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good thing, and let's hope it stays the way, this way. Good position here for Hamid Shaheen to put one into the box. Try to pull one back here for the Lions.
Can still make it interesting if they get one goal back. Half an hour to play, still got the drinks break to come, of course. Joel and Shirel over it. Is it going to be in-swinger or out-swinger? With the out-swinger from Joel Chu, and it's not the best delivery, and Saifullah clears it easily. And now Hafiz could anticipate that ball brilliantly, very nearly played it through to Stipe, and there's a mistake. They just about get away with it. Shirel, wasted set-piece opportunity that from Joel Chu, and there's a bit of a kick out. You can see the funny side of it. Jaime, I think the irony there is he thinks, well, you book me, ref, you're not going to book him. As he timed the run well here. Flag did stay down. Oh, good strength from Diego Lopez that time. And it's opening up now, runners all over the place. Gabriel Quack and a lovely diagonal run. Gabriel Quack for his second and the Sailors third. And that is some run from Gabriel Quack. The through ball was beautiful. The Sailors have 3, the points are in the bag. And Shasi Kumar, a goal of absolute beauty.
Well, it was all about the timing, wasn't it? The timing of the run, the timing of the pass. He had to be really careful with that ball there. A few players on offside, but Gabriel Quack, look at this, superb with the outside of the foot, and then he takes the goalkeeper on, and from then on, he's never ever going to miss from there.
Scored by number 22, Gabriel Quack.
It's the kind of pass from Saifullah that deserves an assist there, but Gabriel Quack, the angled running, absolutely sensational. 3-0, and you can stick a fork in this one, folks. It's done. The young Lions have shown glimpses, but they just haven't got the squad to live with this much talented, even if at the moment a bit erratic, Lion City Sailors outfit.
Yeah, they're not even playing with on 5th gear here.
I know this again is one of those staff questions with goal difference to factor in and whatnot, but do you think Vidmar would rather win this game 6-1 or 3-0 now, as Hassan Sunny picks it out of the air?
Well, it has to be 6-1 because that's
better goal difference.
Yeah,
but I'm just thinking psychologically from the clean sheet perspective.
Yeah, it's very important, and it's good for team morale as well, and especially for the goalkeeper. You know, as a goalkeeper, you ask any goalkeeper in the world, you don't want to be conceding even one goal when you are leading by 10 goals to nil. Yeah,
and of course Hassan Sunny, you know, he's been the class act. We talked about Irfan Fadi, of course. Hassan Sunny blazed the trail in that regard. One of many players prior to Irfan that had gone to the land of smiles, although Irfan, of course, the first one to win the league. Hassan Sunny brought over to Army United by the former England international Gary Stevens when he was in charge there. And it's not easy, by the way, for goalkeepers to go to Thailand, because you're obviously going to have 2 keepers at the club, and there's always pressure for the clubs to pay the Thai boys as George Felipe comes back. He's going to have more work to do here, George Felipe, and he gets that as far as Harris Stewart. Oh, that was a nice bit of tomfoolery in the middle from Jaime. Just managed to kid Diego Lopez out of it that time. Into the area. That's not the worst cross in the world. Amaral heads it away, and Chardin can bring the Lion City Sailors clear. Again, what are you predicting the final score is going to be at this stage? Or that's another late challenge.
He's lucky to get away with that, Zul.
What do you think of the final score here, Shasi? It kind of could go either way, couldn't it? It might just peter out, but I think there's a couple of goals left in this game, don't you?
Yeah, I think Lion City Sailors, they're good for another 2 goals, especially with players coming on, you know, and they just got that firepower, and they just need one chance like they did just a few minutes back.
Only 4 points on the board prior to today. Now it looks like they're going to have 7, and even with 20 minutes of this game to go, they've scored 12 goals this season. So to score 12 goals through your first 4 games and will not be top of the table, that's unusual.
And they went on a run like this as well in the second part of the last season as well, when they came back and scoring loads of goals.
Well, make no mistake about it, all roads for them are going to lead to a blockbuster clash here now. They entertain Albrechts at Jalan Besar next Wednesday. Meanwhile, oh, that's a challenge that had to be spot on by Zulkarnain. What's he given here? I thought for a split second he might have given a penalty, which would have been doubly controversial, but he...
Yeah, I think it was the right decision. No, Adam wasn't complaining. Good tackle from Zul Suzliman.
Have a look at this challenge again. Gully ball from Gabriel Quack, and spot on. You called that one perfectly, Chassis. Shardan. Saifullah already produced one beautiful pass to set up a goal, and there's another challenge that had to be bang on the money, and was from young Joel Chu.
Well, he had to get that right, didn't he, from the back, and did ever so well to get a foot to the ball. Another corner. Shardan again to take this one.
Headed away. There are plenty of blue shirts swarming over it as well. Now, what can they do on a quick counter here? Because there's plenty of blue shirts committed forward for that. But to take advantage, they've got to try and get the ball in the opposition half, and that's something, unfortunately, they've been able to do on more than one occasion. The flag's going to be up here. Doesn't like that call. The replay will be interesting here.
Yeah, Gabriel didn't like that one at all.
Just going through the corner count here. I mean, 4-2 on the corner count. I feel like there have been more than 6 corners in this game. Has he got a point here?
Yeah,
yes, he's
offside.
As a player, do you know in that situation, are you just doing the theatrics when you try and claim it was the wrong call? Here's Ryan Stewart over the top, but it's a vain chase for Jaime, and Hassan Sunny can gather. Haven't really seen Hassan Sunny have to make a save today, have we?
Yeah, I think that's the disappointing thing for young Lions. Haven't really troubled Hassan Sunny at least once.
Hougang United look to be going to the top of the AIA Singapore Premier League. They now lead the Stags by 3-1. Hougang 3, Tampines 1. The Sailors have scored 3 here. Is this about to be number 4? Stipe waits. The cross from Hafiz deflected behind it. It will be corner number 5 for the Lion City Sailors.
Yeah, they were all lining up in the middle there. Shahruz Azali not happy at all. And the cross comes in from Hafiz No. He's ever the danger down the flanks.
Going to be a delay to this corner. There's a young Lion down, clutching his knee. Is that Joel Chu down on the deck as well? It looked innocuous. Is that young Joel Chu there?
And he's already got a heavily bandaged knee.
That's how I recognised him on the deck. And it is that right knee that nothing, it was very innocuous. Is it cramp? He's doing the foot like he's cramp. He has had injury problems from time to time, Joel Chu. It was at the situation at Tampines as well, so a change is going to need to be made. Who do you put on in this situation? It's a bit of a thankless task, Chassis. They've already utilised Zulkarnain. I suppose they got Amish Hafiz there or Noor Hakim. You'd imagine it would be one of those two. Maybe Bill Mamadou, actually, to give them a bit of a physical presence in the final 22 minutes.
Between Noor Hakim and Amish Hafiz, who can play in that role just behind the striker. Wait to see until this corner is taken, I think.
Yeah, they're going to be playing with 10 while the corner is taken. He is trudging off, and let's hope that Joel Chu is not badly injured.
Is it Bill, I think?
Yeah, Bill Mamadou it is. Big physical presence. He's going to be allowed to come on before the corner is taken as well.
Substitution for the Young Lions, number 12, Joel Chu, is being replaced by number 31, Bill Mamadou.
Corner's flicked on by a young Lion, only as far as the blue shirt, just outside the area though, which helps them to regroup. George Felipe staying up in the front line for this. He's in no hurry to get back. Saifullah sends it back to Hassan Sunny. He's not got many defenders around him. It's only Diego Lopez who's there. Now you can see in the bottom of your screen George Felipe just coming back, and well, Might's walked down to walking pace here. We haven't had the water break in the second half either, have we? I'm assuming that will come the next time the ball's out of play, and it might be now, because there's work to do here to play this one out of trouble. And Ryan Stewart does well. Harry Stewart over on the far side wants this, and he'll get it. And the flag will stay down, but where's the man in the middle waiting to get on the end of any potential cross? And George Felipe, well, that's a physical mismatch on the field, isn't it? George Felipe up against Jaime. So the change is coming, and it's going to be Well, a change initially for the Lion City Sailors. And Song Ul-yong is about to come on. Now, will he take Diego Lopez off here, or will he Shardan? It's got to be one of those two, isn't it, Chassis?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be probably Saifullah as well.
Saifullah might be an option. That's a very powerful midfield if you've got Shardan, Song Ul-yong and Diego Lopez all together. First contribution from Bill Mamadou is a good one. He's set the young lions up here away at the races. Can they get the cross? And they can. It's over the top of Hassan Sunny. Just managing to keep it in is Zulkarnain. I'm told it will be Saifullah. You were spot on, Chassis. Saifullah will be making way for Song Ul-yong. Harry Stewart. Haven't seen Kyrene Nadim at all in the second half. He's been largely anonymous. Kind of player that could still create something from nothing, and they will at least win a corner. And the corner will be taken after the drinks break, so that'll be interesting. This is a bit like a timeout in basketball, isn't it, before you take a free throw, trying to ice the kicker in NFL football. So Philip Paul will have a chance to run through what he wants from this set-piece routine as you get a look at Song Ul-yong. What will be going through Song Ul-yong's mind now today that he's been taken out the starting lineup, because he's been pretty much an ever-present for the Sailors over the last couple of seasons?
Well, he'll be very disappointed not to have started the game, but like all professionals do, he's got to work harder in training. Let's see the first goal from Gabriel Quack. Absolutely brilliant goal. And then the second from Stipe Plazibat. To his tally already, left foot this time. And then this third goal from Gabriel again. Well worked, well-timed pass from Saifullah. And a great finish from Gabriel Quack. He's never ever going to finish or miss from there. As Lion City Sailors prepare to make their change.
Well, I wouldn't want to be Gavin Lee's cat tonight. Hougang 4, Tampines Rovers 1, and we have seen a first red card of the season as well. Kaizan's seen red
by Haki.
At centre back, and that'll be a suspension for him as well. And bearing in mind, I think the combined age of their centre back pairing at Tampines with Dan Bennett and Bayhaki is about 140. Yeah, that's going to be a problem for Gavin Lee moving forward. Well, it was always going to happen. You knew one certainty is that the red card was going to come sooner rather than later, and it's come. Bayhaki, second yellow card, he's seen red, and Hougang. Well, are we starting to take this team seriously as title contenders now? I know if people say it's only 4 games in, it's only a 21-game season, remember?
Yeah, we should, you know, as long as they keep on winning games, and the two teams that they have beaten, or they are going to beat Tampines today anyway, by 4-1. That's a thrashing, by the way.
Yeah. And, of course, Tomoyuki Doi and Yamazaki, they got that Japanese connection there. And away. Corner is wasted, really. I'm trying to recall the last time Tampines were beaten by that kind of scoreline. Can't remember the last time somebody gave, certainly in the SPL, Tampines a real threat. And that's a nice pass inside. Hassan Sunny comes, doesn't get there, and George Felipe bails him out. So close to finally seeing that bit of magic from Kyrene Nadim that would have given the Young Lions a score on the board.
Yeah, very close, very unlucky there. There was a very good ball, maybe slightly overplayed there, but George Felipe in the right place at the right time.
Don't think it was necessarily on target either. It was just a little dink across that didn't really have the power to make it to the goal. Needs some pressure from the Young Lions though. George Felipe's header only as far as Harry Stewart. We'll get it back again, Harry Stewart. Wow, clearances just like that. We're into the final 16 minutes.
Nicely done by Hafiz Noor there, brought the ball down brilliantly. Great first touch.
I tell you who's got the third and fourth goals for Hougang is a player who, with the arrival of Tomoyuki Doi and Yamazaki, might have gone under the radar, but he played only a bit part there last season, but he is no question, a real talented young centre-back. Maksat is on the score sheet. So Maksat got the third and Shafiq Ghani got the fourth.
It's the intensity that Hougang plays the game, isn't it? They showed it against the LCS, and they're definitely showing it against the Tampines, two favourites.
But what's amazing about them, Hougang, you know, you say they're inconsistent. 2019, they were a real force, got AFC football. Last season, they were really poor. Oh, that was a nice touch. Could be a card here. And there is. Well, is this going to be another? It is, isn't it? The red's out, 2 yellows, and he's gone. Amaral becomes the second player this season in the AIA Singapore Premier League to see red, and it came only minutes after Maihaki was red carded for Tampines. Well, it was very innocuous, but it's a yellow card offence, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think he's got to go.
Definitely, and you can see when he just lifted his hands up there, you can tell there, it was a left foot that flicked his heel, Ilhan Fandi's heel, and he had to go.
Well, I think if you're Aurelio Vidmar, you won't be too impressed by Amaral's thinking there. You're 3-0 up in a game like this. Why on earth do you want to cop for a suspension? Obviously, the Lion City Sailors have got greater strength in depth than most, but real waste. As he sent off, just to confirm, the referee did show a second yellow card there. It wasn't just a straight red. I thought for a minute the referee might not have showed that first red. Why Satya Kumar? So no red cards through the first 3 rounds of the season. Then 2 in the first 2 games of the 4th round. And it's given Ryan Stewart a chance to put the ball down in a relatively threatening position. It's actually Shirel that's over it. Shirel. George Felipe went down wanting a free kick. Referee not giving it to him. Needless red card, that Chassis, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Unnecessary. He was already, they were already 3-0 up, and were covering defenders as well.
Oh, down the line, looking for Ryan Stewart, who gets there. Showed good pace at this stage of the game to manage to keep that in, and now he's herring back to try and get the ball back for his team. But Diego Lopez brings it out for the Sailors. Oh, taking a chance there, and a beautiful pass releases Hafiz. Look at Gabriel Quack steaming up. Hafiz. And really, Chassis should have converted there. So we haven't had a red card this season before today. I don't think we've had a hat-trick either. Gabriel Quack will fancy his chances of putting that right in the remaining 12 minutes.
Yeah, Stipe passed his chance against Tanjung Pagar, like I said, but it's end-to-end now.
Oh, Gabriel Quack just not in sync on that run. Here's Bill. He came on for the injured Joel Chu. Zulkarnain, the other substitute's going to get there in front of George Felipe, and Hassan Sari has made one save, but he can't make a second. And the Young Lions have their goal, and it's Ilhan Fandi. Well, I'll get Chassis to analyse this. There's a question mark to get over Hassan Sari's goalkeeping. It might be harsh to call this a goalkeeping clamour, but when you get a hand to it, Chassis, you've got to keep it out, haven't you?
Well, firstly, it was well worked, and I tell you what, he is a little unlucky. It's a great save. Great save from the goalkeeper, Hassan, but wasn't strong enough, and that's where Ilhan Fandi pounced on it.
I mean, that's the frustrating thing. It was a great initial save from Hassan Sari, but when you've done well enough to get to it, I mean, that's what they practice in the warm-ups before the game, isn't it? You've got to make the contact and get the ball away from the danger area. And all he managed to do was get the ball into the path of Ilhan Fandi, who scores his 2nd goal of the season. And it will be no hat-trick for Gabriel Quack either. He is replaced by Tajeli, yeah. So that's a rather defensive-minded move that I think was going to be made before the Young Lions got the goal. So we've now had across 2 games 9 goals this afternoon, and there's still over 10 minutes to play. They couldn't do it this time, surely. They can't come back and get a draw here.
Against 10 men, why not? All you need is just 1 more goal right now.
Well, I'd put the cue in the rack in terms of this game being a contest, and that was an opportunity to put them through for number 2.
And Nadim there was lurking behind George.
Well, I tell you what, oh, what a flick that is, and Zulkarnain's through on goal. Zulkarnain nooks across, and Tajeli does just enough to get it to Hassan Sani. I tell you something, if the Lion City Sailors throw this away, I venture to suggest that Amaral won't be receiving a Christmas card from Aurelio Vidmar anytime soon. 3-0 up and absolutely cruising. Now all of a sudden, Young Lions get one back playing against 10 men. And the Young Lions get a bit of life in them.
A great spirit shown by the Young Lions, but still need to defend properly here because the Lion City Sailors, they can't score anytime.
Radham gets it to Sogoyong. Stipe. Diego Lopez. Oh, Stipe and Lopez teaming up well. Hafiz on the run. I think now, as we enter the final 10 minutes, the priority for the Lion City Sailors has just got to keep hold of the ball here, isn't it? They won't be trying any fancy passes that give the Young Lions possession, and the way they knock the ball about, they could probably take 2 minutes off the clock just passing it amongst themselves, Chassis.
Yeah, great play from Shadan there, keeping the ball, and if you want someone to hold possession of the ball, and it's this guy here, Shadan.
Shadan to Stipe,
Class.
Stipe to Shadan. Look at this, they have actually knocked at least a minute off in this possession, Noor Adam. Well, they took possession of the ball here when the clock was at 79 minutes, now 80-30. Sogoyong, and Sogoyong unable to keep it in, so they finally do see possession, having kept hold of the ball for 90 seconds, and the Young Lions now have just over 9 minutes plus stoppage time to get 2 goals.
Yeah, great defending from Raihan, and it's weird that he gets better as the game goes by. Didn't really have a brilliant first half, but he's got better in the second, Raihan.
Here's Bill. City Sailors having to drop deep here. I'm not sure that's their strength. Zulkarnain. Overlapping run is from Ryan Stewart. What can Ryan Stewart do? George Felipe. Right on cue. Sends it out for a throw. I know that might sound like a small difference, but oh, what happened there? Thought they came together momentarily, nothing doing. But knocking it out for a throw rather than a corner helps. And they're just starting to get a little bit antsy. That Ilhan Fandi, George Felipe battle that's been ongoing. Played in the right spirit, it should be said.
I think it's the first time that Aurelio Vidmar is standing.
Yeah, well, that's something else I know. I didn't see Aurelio Vidmar come out of his technical area more than once in that game against Hougang, and that is a rare foray. It's a bit like wildlife spotting now with a camera on Aurelio Vidmar, trying to see him coming out of his little... The Lions, is it a Lions den? It is, isn't it? A den. Hassan Sunny. Not exactly closing this game out with authority, are they, the Lion City Sailors now? The points surely secure. But the fact that the Young Lions have come back from a similar position to this, 3-run down, about 10 minutes to go against Balestier this season, that gives the players belief, doesn't it?
And it could play in the LCS minds as well.
George Felipe doing enough there to see the Young Lions cough possession up. Stipe, I thought that man went through the...
Said Akmal, I think.
Even there, yeah, it was Said Akmal, wasn't it? Just need to find a second goal with still some time on the clock, and if you are the Sailors, you are going to be panicking. We can't have another 3-3 this season, surely. It's been a goal fest in the Singapore Premier League. Zulkarnain. Aimi. Loose ball picked up by Hafiz Noor. Now Stipe. Now they could be in business. Stipe looks up. Sogoyong was in plenty of space.
Wasn't the ball that Diego Lopez was after. And Stipe just played it behind it.
Stewart. Lil Mamadou. Oh, that's a lovely, perfectly weighted pass through to Ryan Stewart. Ryan Stewart along the ground. It's left. I'm not sure whether leaving it was the right call from Ilhan Fandi on that occasion. I think he was expecting the run of Kyron Nadim, wasn't he, to be behind him.
And one player who has impressed me is Bill Mamadou. Come on, done very well, playing in the middle of the park together with Haris.
He's got a big physicality about him. I think I saw him in this game last season, actually, that game at the Jurong West when he put himself about a bit. Zulkarnain's had an impact as well. So even though they look like they are going to lose here, there's plenty of promise for the Young Lions. They haven't won a game yet this season. They'll be winning a couple, you think, this campaign, Chassis?
Yeah, I think so, but it's just about getting it right defensively, not to concede silly goals. I think that's the most important thing, because they've got the right attitude going forwards. They have the players to do damage, but it's just keeping it tight sometimes.
Last change being made by Filippo now. I'm told that Jaime, who's on a yellow card, remember, will be making way for Nur Hakim. The third and final change available to Philippe, or having already lost Joel Chu through injury, and Samani coming off at the break. Into the final 5 then. Well, no clean sheet. I suppose that's the other takeaway for the Sailors. That stat you hit us with before the game, Chassis, holds true. Only that Tanjung Pagar game this season they managed to stop the opposition from scoring. And that will mean teams always feel like they've got a chance against them. Nur Adam, Sogol in unfamiliar territory down the left flank, almost. Back to Nur Adam. And the throw goes to the young Lions. Now, change will come.
Yeah, it's Nur Hakim for Habishain, who's already on a yellow card. He's done well and got a little bit frustrated as the game wore on. Of course, had that sitter in the first half. We should have scored.
Here's Bill. It's giving him certainly some more power at the back. And if they're going to get the second goal that would give us a grandstand finish, it's got to come now, you fancy. Can't imagine there being more than 3 or 4 minutes of time to be added on. There's been plenty of substitutions, and obviously the injury to Joel Chu, that aligned with the red card, will probably mean we get 4 minutes. That's a nicely weighted pass again to Ryan Stewart, who once more will get there, crosses it. So nonchalant from George Felipe there to get it clear. And with a free kick, that was pretty needless from Sogol as he grabs out at Zulkarnain.
The energy from Ryan Stewart has been amazing, especially in the second half.
And that's one of the criticisms levelled sometimes at the local players here, isn't it? The fitness levels. There's nothing wrong with Ryan Stewart's fitness levels. He's gone up and down that left-hand side, coast to coast, seemingly for the whole 90 minutes. He's still pushing forward here. This will be an interesting test of the Lion City Sailors' resolve to not concede another, because there's options here if they get the right cross in. And didn't take a deflection. It had already gone out of play before it bended round. That will be a goal kick.
Yeah, heavy touch there. Just that final ball eluding them. Just Lion City Sailors just seeing this game out after going down by 1 man.
Well, they're going to get the 3 points by the looks of things, Chassis, but is this the kind of performance? I know the result's going to be okay, 3-1 win, get the 3 points in the bag, but is this the kind of performance that's going to suggest that the Hougang defeat was just a blip, or do you think there's still plenty to prove after today?
Yeah, listen, I think at this present moment, and like you said, it's going to be a pretty short season, 21-game season. It doesn't matter. They just want to get the 3 points and move on ahead and be as consistent as possible in terms of results. And performance-wise, yeah, they've been okay. And of course, they've punished the young Lions with the firepower that they've had. And kudos to them.
But it's not been one of those games. Obviously, Stipe hit the post. They've had a couple of chances. Hafiz had a good chance he wasted. But it's not one of those games where you thought, well, on another day it could be 6-7-0. I mean, they've 3-1 on balance. It's probably the right result for the game we've watched, right?
Yeah, I think they are just in control of the game, not without being brilliant or anything like that. But some standout performances. I think George Felipe has done well at the centre-back. I think he's come on in, done pretty well. Gabriel Craig, obviously, with those 2 goals.
Well, it's to Ilhan's Fandy's credit that he managed to get a goal against that formidable centre-back, because George Felipe is not like Ilhan out of his sight for the most part. And what was he doing there? He's let them play it on. Even, I think now he's going down with the injury routine, I think, but that was just bad misjudgment, because I think it was going to go behind for a corner anyway.
Yep.
And that's maybe just a tired Danish fan making that call there.
Yeah, the skipper. But As the ball comes across.
It's already come off. Oh, he's already picked up an injury,
Yeah.
in fairness. Yeah, take that back. Poor old Danish there. I think he'd already pulled up with a knock, but they wouldn't want to lose Danish and Joel Chu in the same game, and he's gone down in some discomfort here.
It's a hamstring. Looks like a hamstring. It doesn't look good. They've made all 3 substitutions, haven't they?
They have. I know in some leagues in Asia now, it's been trialled in the J League. You are allowed a concussion substitute now as a 4th substitute. If you've made all your subs and it's a head injury that's involved, you can bring that on. This injury is going to take us ticking over to the 90-minute mark, and Danish is limping behind the goal. I think Chassis may be correct. It looks like a hamstring the way he's limping. I can't see him continuing unless it's just a bit of cramp. Meanwhile, Sellers will take the corner. How much time to be added on here? 4 minutes. So 4 minutes to get 2 goals, unlikely. In fact, if there's going to be another goal, it might come from the Sailors, and it's George Felipe again. Just doing enough is the ever-combative Harris Stewart.
Yeah, he tried to go over the ball there with his left foot. It looked like it was going to be on target here as the ball comes in. Diego. And yeah, it was Harris doing ever so well to get that.
Hougang have put 5 past the Stags. Hougang 5, Tampines Rovers 1. Oh, header, great save! Noor Shafiq. Well, that's the best save of the game so far, really. And it's come in injury time. And then the whistle's going to go. Let's have a look at that save again, because it came out of absolutely nothing.
Yeah, great save. Great ball in, and George Felipe there. Outstretched arms of Noor Shafiq.
Could have had 2 today, George Felipe, couldn't he, from set pieces? I think that's a safe assumption that he's going to score a goal from a set piece in that mould of Ensar Bruncevic at Badastir, who's always a threat for his club at set pieces. Oh, there's a lovely ball through to release Hafiz, and he's running into space. Plazabat in support. Soguyong's there as well. Diego Lopez arriving, albeit very slowly. But there's no interest in goal number 4 at this point. They just want to see the final seconds out. And at the moment, you struggle watching this, certainly in the last couple of minutes, to figure out that it was the Sailors playing with 10 and not the Young Lions, with Danish Irfin back on. Plazabat's onside here. Noor Adam, oh, lovely cross. Noor Adam, Hafiz, header! I think Noor Shafiq got a touch, but the flag was up for offside in any event.
Yeah, I think he was just off there. Good header. Goalkeeper, I think he had a touch to it.
Don't forget, at full time, Chassis and myself will be showing you the best of the second half action, analysing, updating you with what happened at Hougang. A game that's seen the Cheetahs go top of the AAA Singapore Premier League. And I'm trying to remember the last time Hougang were top after 4 games. Mind you, it's a bit disingenuous, isn't it? Because Albrechts can win tomorrow and go back to the top of the table. There are still 2 games to come this weekend, of course. Badastir, Tanjung Pagar and Albrechts Geylang. Albeit Chirongi's really looking forward to that one. Oh, lovely work. There's the class of Diego Lopez. Plazabat holding it up and winning the free kick for the foul by Harris Stewart.
Well done, Stipe, keeping his cool, his frustrations in check there after the challenge from, there you see from the back, Raihan, or Haris rather.
Faranea will also be going down pitch side to endeavour to get the post-match interviews with the managers, but if we don't manage to bring them to you live, you can check back on the AIA Singapore Premier League social media channels to hear the thoughts of Young Lions coach Philippe Poor and Lions City Sailors manager Aurelio Vidmar after this today. Noor Adam. I'm sure that was the pass of a tired player, wasn't it, from Noor Adam? Well, final thoughts from you, Shashi, on what's going to be 3 points for the Lions City Sailors. Glimpses, but they don't still look to be firing at all cylinders, do they?
Yeah, it's a funny game, wasn't it? Young Lions started the game very well, and then LCS took over, scored all those 3 goals, and then got that player sent off, Amirul Adli. And after that goal, they kind of like just sat back. But overall, I think they deserved the victory. Pretty comfortable in the end.
Over the top. He's at it again, Ryan Stewart. He's not going to get to another one, is he? No, not that time. Just the bounce catching him out. But he looks like he could play for another 90 minutes, but he won't be able to. Our referee, Y. Sathya Kumar, blows the full time here, and the Lions City Sailors have beaten the Young Lions by 3 goals to 1. 2 goals in the first half. Gabriel Quack and Stipe Plazibat on the 27th and 34th minutes respectively. Quack added a second for his night and a third for the Sailors just after the hour mark to make it 3. But the Lion City Sailors did have a hiccup. Amaral was sent off after committing a second Buckalman offence for a needless leg stretched out, and Ilhan Fandi capitalised against the 10 men of the Sailors to at least give the scoreline some respectability from a Young Lions point of view. But the best team won here. There's glimpses of the kind of talent that the Young Lions may be able to transfer to the national team in the months and years to come. But the right result here is seeing Young Lions beaten by the Lion City Sailors by 3 goals to 1. So let's check out the stats. We'll have a look at the stats very quickly. You can see, well, didn't seem as many as 12 shots, but the Young Lions themselves had 8. Corner count 9-4. 6 offsides for the Lion City Sailors, which I suppose is testament to the Young Lions' defensive organisation. And 4 yellow cards aligned with 1 red, and just the 1 yellow card for the Young Lions, and that went to Jaime. And what this does to the table with the result between Hougang and Tampines, where Hougang, just wanting to check if the final whistle has gone there. Last I saw, we're winning by 5 goals to 1. We'll go top of the table. It's finished 5-1 there, albeit Albrechts can retake top spot if they beat Geylang tomorrow. And that defeat for Tampines takes them out of the top 3 for the first time this season. They drop all the way down to 4th. The Young Lions still second from bottom. And Tanjung Pagar United, of course, who take on Balestier tomorrow, they can climb off the bottom of the table if they win there. So I say just the 4 goals. I think many people thought there might be more, Chassis, but the Young Lions gave a good account of themselves in the first half. The second half, though, certainly before the red card, it was pretty much one-way traffic.
Yeah, I thought LCS were pretty comfortable. You know, at the end of the day, when Amirul got sent off, then I think they just set back a little bit. But apart from that, I think they were very comfortable in the end. And going forwards, you always know that they can score a goal from anywhere.
Let's have a look back at the action then from that ultimately convincing performance from the Lion City Sailors that began just before the water break with Gabriel Quack put through lovely by Stipe 1-0.
Great goal, great left foot, as you know, from Gabriel Quack, and as he went along, opened his body up, and we all know what's the end product with the side. Akmal, a little bit too late there with the tackle, but Gabriel Quack, great goal. And then the second one from Stipe Plazibat. What a ball from Diego Lopez, and then easy does it from Stipe.
Stipe with his 4th goal of the season. Still going to be off the goal-scoring top spot, though. Tomiyuki Doi scored his...
It's all about the composure, isn't it? And off the post as well. And this 3rd goal was just about timing, the pace
Look at
of
the run.
ball.
Look at the angle of the run from Gabriel Quack.
And the run as well. And the ability to pick him out as well from Saifullah. Young player of the year last season. Great goal. Young player to the player of the year last season.
Now, they've got strength in depth, but they will be frustrated, the Lion City Sailors, that they finished the game with 10. And this is why Amaral shown a second yellow, needlessly really, when you're 3-0 up committing this kind of foul.
Yeah, I tell you what, there was George Philippe behind him as well. Unnecessary foul. Just flicked his left foot up, and really, really poor from Amirul Adli.
He knew straight away as well, didn't he? So after no red cards through the first 3 rounds of the season, both games had a red card today. Amaral here and Baihaki for Tampines, as the Stags went down 5-1. And last, but by no means least in terms of the highlight reel, Ilhan Fandi, after good work by Zulkarnain, a lovely cross, lovely first-time shot from Ilhan, initially saved by Hassan Sani, and he's furious with himself, isn't he, the keeper?
Yeah, a little bit unlucky there, Hassan. We all thought it was a great save, and then hands not strong enough, and great goal in the end.
Well, great work from Farah Naya. She's downstairs already, speaking live with the Sailors coach, Aurelio Vidmar.
I have with me Aurelio Vidmar, head coach of the Lion City Sailors. Aurelio, what a performance from your side tonight. You were so close to keeping the clean sheet. You had to end the match, last 15 minutes, a man down, but it's all 3 points in the end for you. You must be pleased with that.
Yeah, well, as I said at the beginning of the game, it was really important that we bounced back from our last defeat. And to be honest, we were a little bit rusty in front of goals early. We had a couple of very good chances. And then we got ourselves in the right position, and again it was a bit of a tricky game as well, because as you can see they're playing some decent football, and they really pushed us hard. and of course that last 15 minutes became a little bit more difficult.
Now the fans finally got to watch both your Brazilians in action today. A first start for Diego. George made his debut. They've both just eased in so seamlessly, haven't they?
Yeah, they were good. It's never easy, especially coming into a country that they're not really aware of, and in terms of the football. So they've adjusted well. They get on well with the boys, and it's good to finally get them after Diego's had some minutes, but obviously George hasn't, and to be able to finish 90 minutes is very pleasing.
Aurelio, congratulations. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Great work, Farah. And Aurelio Vidmar doesn't give too much away in his interviews, does he? But I think he summarised it quite well. You know, not getting carried away, but they got the win and they wanted to bounce back ideally with a clean sheet, but they got 3 points after what happened against Hougang. And by the way, that Hougang result doesn't look as bad now, does it, that they've gone and beaten Tampines 5-1?
And it's an excellent summary, right? By the way, you know, I summed it up exactly what I wanted to say. You know, he found it tricky in the end as well. He knew that the Young Lions were pretty good, a good team. He was always going to, you know, give a little bit of problems, but they finally turned the tide, and it was good that he said that they needed to acclimatize as well, the Brazilians. And finally, George Felipe, we get to see him, and I think he's going to be a player for them.
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing the development of both George Felipe and Diego Lopez. I don't think we'll have to wait too many more match days before both those names are on the score sheets in the AIA Singapore Premier League for the first time.
I think so too.
Let's go back downstairs. Farah Naya, how good is this girl? She's already got both managers just minutes after the final whistle. Now she's with the Young Lions coach, Philip Au.
3, 2, 1.
Now with me is Philip Au from the Young Lions. Philip, we spoke earlier today and you said that the results were not the be-all and end-all for you, that the performance was what mattered the most. So what did you make of your side's performance today?
I'm glad that, you know, in patches we still played our football. At times we managed to outplay LCS and create chances. Well, of course, you know, we need to learn from this game, because our transition from attack to defense was a problem for us in this game. And the quality of the LCS players, you could see, you know, they hit you if you're not defending properly as a team.
Now, of course, you had a consolation courtesy of Ilhan tonight. Did you think you could have done any more today?
Yes, we got into the final third on few occasions. Yeah, the final ball lacked quality, and it is something that we need to work on, because we do well to get there. Yeah, it's about the final ball in to create chances for Ilhan. And not only Ilhan, but the other players as well.
Philip, thank you so much. We'll see you the next time out.
Thank you.
That's Aurelio Vidmar summarised the game. Are you impressed with the words of Philip Au as well?
Yeah, exactly, and you know, it is a problem in the transition from back to front, and they did get into the penalty area just a few times, and Hami Shine should have gotten the first goal in the first half. So if that had gone in, there it would have been a different story. But you know, in the end, they need to improve.
We'll find out whether they can improve very quickly, because the Young Lions are in action again on Wednesday. Full match day coming up on Wednesday night, so there'll be 4 games for you there. There are still 2 games to come this weekend, and we've got to tell you what happened in the other match that happened tonight. Also a slightly delayed kickoff due to LWS. Started at 6, and Hougang have beaten Tampines Rovers by 5 goals to 1. Like this game, that game had a red card, because seeing red was by Haki, but the game was already lost by then. He was red carded when the Stags were 3-1 down. Tomyuki Doi with the first hat-trick in the AIA Singapore Premier League this season. Maxat with the other one, and Shafiq Ghani with the 4th of the 5 goals. So Hougang, that's a statement. They've beaten the Sailors and now Tampines back-to-back.
That is definitely a statement. That is a trashing for Tampines. It's back to the drawing box for Tampines, and a player down as well by Haki. He's going to miss the next game. But Hougang, you know, I think they are a team to challenge for the title, and they're there to stay.
Don't forget to check out the AIA Singapore Premier League social media channels. You get full match highlights from both of today's games around about an hour after the full-time whistle. And don't forget to join us live tomorrow for another great doubleheader. Balestier Calta taking on Tanjung Pagar United at the Pelaut Stadium. I'll be at Jurong East to see the defending champions Albrecht Tegate, who were held to the season's first scoreless draw against Balestier last time out. They take on Norani's exciting but erratic Geylang team. Really looking forward to going there. Shasi, many thanks. Look forward to seeing you at Balestier Geylang on Wednesday. But for now, stay safe, stay well. Don't forget to join us tomorrow night for more great AIA Singapore Premier League action. But tonight belongs to the Lion City Sailors as they beat the Young Lions by 3 goals to 1.